even game, and then suddenly it's 8K because they just hit this timing and they're so synchronized. Like they're a Coddle team, they're a Wisp team. Like it's just these heroes that it's not individual understanding, it's the whole team rallying around them.
Well, I got a tiny bit of an update for you, Brian, because I did see just Faceless Void being picked, so you... not in this draft. Come on, guys, we're not even in a draft.
I was about to say, on the first pick Faceless Void.
No. PG game will play, so it's no longer an unpicked hero, so your prediction there came true for sure. And I want to talk about our upcoming draft as well, as I want to know what we should be looking out for, Effie, here. Is there any player in particular, any role in particular, any hero in particular that you feel like is key to winning this match?
Yeah, so I think for a lot of this tournament, the 2 and 4 flexes have kind of been king in that first phase. Obviously, we have the usual suspects like the ranged carries, the lone druids, the drow rangers. Are you solving them? Are you dressing them within the draft? But for Pvision in particular, I think about the flexes between No One and 9 class. They have this Earth Spirit that they can play on 4 and 2 that looks fantastic. They have this Coddle that they can play on 4 and 2, and they've only played it on 4 this tournament, but the flex to 2 is always there, and they tend to build their drafts around these.
Yeah, I'm actually curious if Team Spirit leaves IO in. Pretty much everybody's been banning it against 9 class. You know, we talked about a story of the tournament has been 9 class not playing the Monkey Kings and the Slarks. He's still his own unique player. He picks heroes that, it's not that nobody else is picking them. We know some teams are also picking IO, like GH for Enigma Galaxy, for instance. But they're heroes that are very particular playstyle that require everyone on the team to kind of like buy into the game plan. IO more about like the global map movements, Coddle about the macro play with the sustain from Illuminate and the team balling around that. And I just think personally watching the Coddle, there's so many things you have to factor. He pushes waves, he stacks camps so you have to invade them, and then he also creates this insane amount of sustain that you have to be able to actually do damage through. You see them go like Coddle plus like a Largo, like one other sustain hero, and suddenly it just becomes very difficult. So I'm surprised. I'm not surprised per se that they left it in on the side of Team Spirit, but they kind of know what they're getting into. They've left both in IO and Coddle.
Yeah, we also see them taking quite a while to remove Lone Druid from the
Yo, my friend, okay,
it makes sense, but they seem to be preparing for Shadow Fiend opening pick for themselves, or at least trying to bait Pvision into banning out.
There
is indeed the Shadow Fiend ban. So let's see which hero they'll go for as their opening pick. And the Shadow Fiend banned some of the most banned heroes already. I think the only odd one out that might have given them pause is the Hoodwink. We've seen Hoodwink a lot, so I don't think it's that surprising to see her banned. It's a little bit more surprising.
Yeah, I've noticed Puppy does this thing where he'll kind of single out a player and think that they have really strong heroes or one really strong hero, even if they're not necessarily in meta. For example, versus Mouse, he just banned all of Crystallis's heroes. So to me, this says that he's identified there are players that have less heroes to work with, and this is the threat that he's using.
Like they prioritized Bane over with the likes of the Coddle.
Bane first bid. Ruby တွေပါရွေးလို့ကောင်းတယ်။တော်ကလောဝက်လည်းရှိသေးတယ်ဒီမှာမှာ။အဲ့တော့ရအမြဲတမ်းရိုက်ပြတယ်ဟော cast ဒီလေး cast ကိုမပန်းတာဘူးဟောပေါ့။
Pvision actually ends up going for
driver ဆိုဟုတ်ပါဟိန်းတက်ညီလေး thank you ပါဒီကောင်နိုးလို့ကိုအိပ်ပျော်သွားတယ်ကွာ
Sometimes against Bane you want to pick a carry that has illusions or like multiple units of some kind so that you can wake yourself up from the nightmare. You can still do damage while your Fiend's Grip. If you're going to pick Kez like this, I assume they're going to go for a save, whether it's, I think the most likely one is Ringmaster that we've been seeing against Bane. Is there any other reliable Fiend Script cancels or saves, Mira, that you'd be prioritizing against the Bane?
I mean, there's things that are less popular, like maybe we would see Yandex or like
cast ကတော့ true ရကြည့်ရမယ် first bit တွေတဲ့ပဲအမေအဲ့လိုမျိုး Rupert တွေဘာတွေကတော့လေနော်ကျန်ကြံတယ်ခုနပြော Cloud Rupert
yeah, that's not
really again တော့ကျ
That makes sense. I mean, these teams, like obviously they're scouting very specifically. I know Team Spirit often adjusts their opening to the team that they're up against, which some teams will just be like, here's what we do. Hope you figure it out. Hope you figure it out. But Team Spirit, they usually cater to the exact team they're playing.
You know, I do find this Kez opening quite curious from Pvision because they haven't done it this EWC so far, and you look at Team Spirit's bans, the Axe was in the very first phase, which is also kind of an anti-Kez hero. You secure that ban early on, and Yatoro did bust out his first Kez versus Reconyx the other day, so maybe there's some
early,
and they also think it's a great hero against Collapse's hero pool.
Yeah, I also think I think Kez is like top of A tier for carries. I think S tier is
quality tabling ရတော့ပေးတော့ပေးနေတာပဲ။အော်နောက်မှာ IO ဆိုတော့ကဲပပင်းကကိုရိုပေါ်တာဆိုတဲ့အတိုင်းပဲသူတို့ကအရင်က IO တွေအရင်တိုက်တဲ့ငွေလေးနှစ်ကောင်ဆိုတော့လက်ရှိမှာလည်း Pvision နဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ IO ဆော့တာဆိုတော့
TA for instance played against Kez. A lot of them struggle against the parry mechanic, the gap closing mechanic, the burst.
ဒီလိုကတော့ကလာဟုတ်ပါလူကတော်တော်မျောလို့
Any sort of buffs. I mean, Kez without any buffs is pretty insane, but if you give him an IO overcharge, I wouldn't even mind if they end up going for something like Invoker. I think Team Spirit could even just take Invoker here because of
quite a low. IO ရဲ့ cascade တစ်ဖက်ကတော့တိုက်ဟန်တာနော်ကိုမျိုးလင်းနေတဲ့ဟိုလိုဘင်းကောင်တာတွေတော့တိတ်တော့ထွက်မလားအဲ့တော့ silencer လည်းဘန်နာနဲ့နောက်မှာတော့တိုက်ဟန်တာရောဘင်းရောနော်ဒီဘက် separate ကတော့ဗရဲကိုတိတိကျကျတော့ sign up sign မယ်ဆိုတဲ့အနေထားပဲဒီဘက် IO လည်းကျွန်တော်ဘင်းနဲ့ထိန်းလို့ရမယ်ပြီးတော့တိုက်ဟန်တာဆိုတော့တောင်းရင်းပဲလုံးဝ
silence and
ကဲမီပိုစကန်နဲ့ပါပီဆိုတော့လေမျှတော့မျှပါတယ်နော် drop က
This EWC, he was very popular just a couple months back. What makes him good here?
It's extremely good against Kez because Tidehunter has his built-in Dispel versus the Kazurai Katana, which is where all of Kez's damage comes from. So he is one of the melee heroes that doesn't get bullied the same way as others do versus Kez. And also that shard, the...
Hey, separate ကတော့ဟိုးရင်ဘယ်သူပဲ force ဆိုတော့အဲ့ဒဝဲလို့တော့
It's really good against IO as well.
Yeah, I mean the reason why Tide mid
ဟိုရေသူတို့ TI နေပါရတော့လည်းဒဝဲလို့ဒဝဲလို့တကယ်ကြိုက်တယ်တဲ့
automatically just
ကြည့်ရကြည့်နေ family တွေဆော့မလားမ cast တော့ဖြစ်သွားပြီဒီ
that attacks you a bunch of times and built-in damage block as well. So
IO
does to some degree deal with both stages of Kez's game. What I'm seeing a lot
ဟော quality တိုက်နေရတော့တောင်းတော့တောင်းပါ IO တော့ရတိတ်မကောင်းတော့ဒဝဲလို့တိုက်ဟန်အောင်ဘင်းရောသုံးလုံးလုံးအဲ့လို IO combo တော်တော်လေးဖြတ်လို့ကောင်း
spells to follow up. But through this IO heal, so where is the finishing blow coming from? And I'm just because you can't really pick a hero like Faces Void, for instance. They have all the lockdown right now. I think. I mean, the way so like I mean, no, never mind. So that more, yeah, man. Never mind. The long time IO, like it to every job. But I think that now IO so standing so fixated on damage because they've done so much for control in Teamfight right now.
I still think the Invoker is quite solid.
Brimstone.
The Bramble set up on one lane and the Nightmare set up on another lane. That could be the damage solution.
IO cast go man, no Brimstone support hero.
She's a hero that's become popular more recently, but I do think she can provide you that little bit of early game damage boost versus IO before he gets.
Notice go like anything to do. No, you are a beam master push on like I mean, the way a beam master
relocates coming, she can layer her brambles on top of her terrorize and buy her team a very valuable 4 seconds.
That's a good point. Against like Willow and Dawnbreaker, these global teleport ins, it is nice to just have
play off the chat here. Let you play be a yard. Play a game be English the bar with English which I Arabic on it. Okay, number 2 change out there. You do have a couple.
The one thing I like about the Grimstroke you usually want Grimstroke to be in lane with carries that have some sort of innate gap close. Traditionally, it's like Anti-Mage, Ricky, PA. Kez is just the better version of all of these. He has a lot of other aspects. He also has that, so he'll utilize the Inkswell, but then also Phantom.
Go my notice Lago.
It's called the second spell for
WS to notice what? Oh, the Madama against on yes, go.
So you can
actually
silence him. The embrace.
Yeah, the Phantom. Yeah, the silence.
Where he shoots his wife.
Yes, his wife will shut Tidehunter up before he ravages for sure.
Nakru리 말이 써져. Nakru리 말이.
Yeah, with much lower cooldown, so that's
actually. 라운드에 엠바리 말이 시리즈 써지. 엠바리 까우나. 그거가 instant damage 유디 막 그래서 silent 에. 엠바리 instant escapeလုပ်လို့ရတော့ရ.ကျွန်တော် damage. 엠바리 까우네. let's see mana မှာတော်တော်ဝင်ရိပ်များနဲ့ 엠바리. ကိုကြီးမညီလေ formula ကတော့ညီလေးနိုင်တာများတယ်။နော်အတွေ့အကြုံရတာ။အမေဒီဘက်ကဟိုဗီဒီယို2ဖြစ်နေရလဲပါတော့ပါပါဗီဒီယို2ဆိုတော့ နိုင်မနိုင်ဘူးကပြောခဲ့တာတည်ပြောသွားတယ်ဟာလောင်းနေဖို့ကားတဲ့ပြီးသွားပြီပေါ့
So they got the synergy there.
ကဲလောင်းနေဖို့ကတော့ပါရီပဲနေတဲ့နဲ့ပါရီကလက်ရှိ Spirit လည်းနည်းနည်းခေါင်းသလုံးသားနေတဲ့အချိန်မှာလောင်းကအင်ဖိုကာတွေကောက်ရှုပ်စောကုန်ပြီဆိုတော့ရှုပ်ကုန်ပြီ
Is there any other hero other than Doom that can really
ဟုတ်တယ်အားသာဟီရိုရှိပါတော့ပြောနေအားသာဟီရိုဆော့ရအောင်လည်းတော်သေးတယ်ကွာမင်းအင်ဖိုကာနဲ့ဆိုးလိုက်တာ
I can't see anything.
I can see him
The thing when I look at Pvision's draft is you need to go through the sustain, but then you also need to have like staying power. The problem I have with like a Faceless Void is if
ဟောက်ထရကဘဲကောင်းနေလုံးတစ်ချက်လောက်လုံးလိုက်မလားရိုက်လိုက်မလား
yeah, then what do you do from there?
Yeah.
So I think
ကဲလို့ဆရာ
they have two options. They have
Invoke တဝဲလုံးတိုက်ဟန်လာ
carries
ပေး
like Terrorblade that just dish it out. A lot of the prime ones are the SFs and the Drows that are already gone. But then you
နောက်
also
မြေဖို့ကကြီးတော့မကြိုက်ဘူးရဲ့
the PL that we've been seeing
တော်တော်ကြည့်ဘူးလို့
prop its face up because right now, you know, Pvision's draft doesn't really have a way to kill illusion heroes, and so if you take
ဆယ်ဖိုက်တော့ဟုတ်တယ်ပါရီကပြပါပီဆိုတာကိုကနာပြောလို့ပါပီနဲ့ကူတော့ IO အရန်ကြိုက်ရသူတို့ဟိုအရင်နဲ့ရသိရမလား
like the TV suggestion a little bit more than PL because in the late game, if Grimstroke gets his eggs,
အခုလည်းသူတို့ကိုယ်ချစ်ဖြစ်လာတဲ့နောက်မှာအေး IO တွေကတွေ့နေရတော့ပြီးတော့ဒီနေ့သိမ်းမှာပဲတော့နည်းနည်းတွေ့နေရတာဆိုတော့
that can buy an early Scotty.
သူညီလေးရဲ့ cast လည်းဖြစ်နေတယ်ညီလေးရဲ့ဒါ bad zero တော့အခုနောက်ပိုင်း cast ကတောင်းတန်းတော့သိနေရအားလေးတွေကတန်းပန်းတယ်
be another reason why
ကဲတော့ဒီဘက်မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ပတ်ပန်းနေ
so
natural no one
gives them everything we said plus
နော်အဲ့ Ember တော့ချီအောင်ပဲကိုတောက်ချောင်ပြောနေတယ် Ember မိုက်တယ်ပြီးတော့ပန်ကိုကတော့မကောင်း no one ဆော့နေတယ်ဘိန်းနဲ့
reason to ban Leshrac.
But if we're aware, surely Pvision is also aware.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna get banned.
I mean, then the question is, do they think they have another answer to it?
အဲ့တော့ Pvision ဘက်ကနည်းနည်း quality မဲ့ကိစ္စတော့ဘိန်းကိုက်တဲ့ကိစ္စကိုသူတို့ဖက်မဲ့အောင်မပေါ့ဘူးတဲ့ Pvision ချက်ကလည်း
So
အဲ့တော့ဘယ်မှာ instant ဖြတ်ဖို့ကမလွယ်ဘူး silent လုပ်ဖို့ဆိုတော့ကြီးကလည်းနည်းနည်းတော့ဝေးနေမှာ
the former gamer gladiators.
Is it really needed for IO to have another combo, or you feel like it's enough with Kez?
I think they
ကိုအဲ့လာကိုဖြတ်ပြီးလို့ရပါတယ်နော်
is going to be the guy you
အာကိုတူးတွေပြီးတော့
you get Aegis and
ဝမ်းနေပိုင်းနဲ့ဆိုလည်းအိတ်တာဖြတ်လို့ရ
somebody to
ဘိ
run
န်းကန်
around with that's just going to dish out a lot of damage.
Papa
You have two
can
enablers
be
support, so you
the-
have Gorgo
Papa.
who's also an enabler.
မဟုတ်
So I
gas
think
က
they do
ဒီ
need
ဘက်မိုက်
to
ပါတယ်
be
ဘာလို့ညီလေးက
zero
နော်ယုံကြည်မှုရှိလို့တာ first page ရွေးတာတဲ့ပဲကြိုက်တာလာခဲ့
I think
နော်
Faceless Void is
gas နဲ့ပိုင်းမယ်ဆိုတဲ့စိတ်ဓာတ်
I
မျိုး
know it would give their draft a lot more.
အဲ့ဒီနေ့ကနှစ်ပွဲလုံးကောင်းတယ် Spring နဲ့ Pari နဲ့တပွဲပြီးတော့နောက်မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ one win နဲ့ notice နဲ့တပွဲ
If you're-
ဟော notice
I wouldn't
တောင်
be
ဖြစ်တယ်ပါ
surprised if they pick it, but I do think it makes the
one
game
win နဲ့ခဏ
one
နေပါဦး
mistake away
ဘ
from
ယ်လို
losing
လဲ
at
ပါ
any
တော့
given point.
Yandas ဆိုတာ notice တောင်ဖြစ်
If
တယ်
there's a team that
Yandas
I would trust to execute and a player to do it, it'd be Yatoro, but
ကဲအဲ့တော့
I
ရ
guess
တို
I
ရို
would
ကို
prefer
ကြီး
to put myself in that
Awesome.
position.
It's very intriguing that the two stunning carries in Tiny and Sven get banned.
my son,
To me,
yeah.
this says that Pvision believe that the only way to get Invoker into this game is to just
Respect
get
out.
him those Sunstrike kills with the stunning heroes
အ
on
တူ
the
ရ
sidelines.
စပတာတို့ပြီး live stealer နော်
Yeah, they might actually go Alchemist. I'm just realizing, like, having a stunning carry.
စပတာ
needs
တော့
to
ကွန်
make
မို
it
တွေပါ
to
မိုက်ပါ Ravi
They kind of have
နော်
damage
အဲ့
issues
စ
right
ပတာ
now
ဟော
on Pvision for the early game.
Can you guys tell me why?
အမ live stealer လည်းကောင်းတာပဲ
Maybe Ember Spirit would still be good or not good for Pvision. That's a Morphling, by the way. That's unusual, but I want to talk a tiny bit about
ဒီဘက်ကဘယ် hero တိုင်းပဲပြ cast ရိုက်ပါအော် Morphling တဲ့ထားရောက်ရေးဆောင်းကြွနေလို့ secondary ဂျာတွေပါထုတ်ထောင်းတိုင်းလို့ရှိပါကျွန်တော်ရတို Morphling
The best carry in the game against Ember
ခဏနေဟေးရတိုကလည်း Morphling ပြန်ပြသွားတာဆိုတော့ Pvision ဘက်ကလည်းနေရမှာကြီးခက်လက်လန်ပဲနော်ဟိုဘက်ကအဲ့လို stand မရှိဘူးကွာခုနဟိုပစ်မာတွေကပြောတယ် stand ကမူးလို့ချူရမရှိဘူးကောင်းတယ်ကွာအဲ့ Morphling ပစ်လိုက်တယ်ဘာနဲ့တော့ဖမ်း
Again, limited damage. Ember Spirit.
အဲ့တော့ cast ကို miss off ပြီးတော့ AM off လိုက်အဲ့ဒါလေဟို AM mid လိုက်ဟိုဘာဆိုရင် AM carry လုပ်လိုက်
Early to mid game
No,
damage,
Kes go
unless
miss
they're
all that
able to
shit,
chain
bro.
a bunch of spells on you. They both hit like I think.
မောင်ဖလေးကဒီတိုင်းဆိုမရဘူးခဏလေး positive ပါရီကနည်းနည်းအရင်များသွားပြီရတော့မောင်ဖလေးကိုနိုင်တဲ့ကောင်မပြောကမှာ
I think a lot of times it's going to be
PA တို့ပါတော့အဲ့လိုကောင်ဒါပေမဲ့ PA တို့လည်းတိုက်ကြီးနေ AM ကောင်းတယ်ကွာ AM fan မို့လားမသိဘူး cast ကို mid ပို့လိုက် Oh nice stalker အဲ့လေဆိုတော့မဆုံးပါဘူးအဲ့တော့နည်းနည်းလေးတော့ထိမ့်မယ်နော်အာလီဘိုင်းနဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့
It's a
အဲ့ပြင်းလို့တော့ရတော့ရမယ်မောင်ဖလေးကို Spirit အော်အမိုးကွာတော့မလာကို mid ပဲဟို nice stalker မလား
It was against Earth Spirit that time.
လုံးဝလာကိုမဆော့လို့လားနော်ကျွန်တော်တို့သူများတွေကတော့တစ်ခါတွေ့ပြီမယ်လုံးဝနဲ့ကိုမတွေ့ဘူးလေလာကိုမဲ့
Sorry, I just think that this Night Stalker was a great pick against Team
Okay,
Spirits. Like Morphling is also that.
အနေတော့မြန်ဒါပေမဲ့ Pari တော့နည်းနည်းလေးပိုကြိုက်တယ် Morphling ကိုတော့အဲ့လိုလေကင်းကြိုင်တော့တော်တော်တစ်လဲမှာထိမ့်မဲ့ကောင်တကောင်မှမပါဘူး
Just try to run at him in the early.
Gas ကဘလို့မှမနိုင်ဘူးနော်အဲ့ဒီတကောလောက်အကျော်ပေးပြီးချလို့ရတယ် Gas လိုကောင်မျိုးကတော့ Morphling အဲ့တော့အားဒီပိုင်းကျွန်တော်တို့ကဲပြီးရတရူကြီးတာတာယာဝမ်းမယ်ဆိုရင်တော့မလွယ်ဘူးဟုတ်ရလေ
I literally laned against Iron Sucker recently.
တော့ဆိုတော့55 45လောက်ပဲလောင်းမျိုးမကြိုက်ပါမယ်နော်ရတရူ Morphling ပြ
the first 5 minutes of the game, but IO tends to get hit.
Duration over ကောင်းတယ်ဒီပွဲ duration over.
And once it hits 5 minutes, I think Night Stalker is one of the few heroes that can threaten to boot Morphling out of lane.
အသင်းကလက်ရှိလေကောင်းနေတယ်ပြီးတော့ဟိုအသင်းတိုင်းကကွာတည်ရမလား Ezo Rocket တို့ TI တို့ဆိုတော့လက်တရားနည်းနည်း stable ဖြစ်လာပြီစပြီ
I guess they don't really have that rotation. Like I don't think a Largo is going to like walk to your lane. I guess all you can say is this: Team Spirit, like they have really amazing team fight, but man, this map is terrifying to play. You're against a Kez who's going to be playing off map. IO Relocate's going to bring 2 extra heroes in. You have Night Stalker Vision at all times, so Pvision is going to get the fights that they want. It's just a matter of is Team Spirit going to be able to brace themselves for it.
And to answer your question, Sheaves, it was just such a
အဲ့
strong.
တော့ Pari ပဲဒါပေမဲ့ drop ကတော့အရင်မပါဘူးကိုကြိုက်ကတော့ Pari တော့ပိုကြိုက်
The Largo, and now you just
Pari
have to play through your offlane. You
ဟို
have
ကတော့
to
နည်းနည်း
take
separate
notice
out သေးပြန်
on his Night Stalker, and no one's gonna take more of a I'm gonna farm my items and I'll join in and I'll give you the auras. But Noticed is the playmaker for Pvision in this game.
So what do we expect coming out of Spirit? Because if there's all this stuff happening on Pvision's side of the map, and they will try to encroach, obviously.
Okay,
on Team
not
Spirit's
the one
side of the
we're
map, like, how are they
playing,
gonna try to make sure that this
Pari ကတော်တော်ကောင်းနေရလဲပါရှိအဲ့တော့အားဒီပိုင်းဒီက
time that he needs.
ဟာလေပြောမိတာပြောတာ miss အောင်ဆောင်း damage ထွက်တယ်ဒီကောင်ကောက်1 2ကအထင်သေးလို့မရအောင်အားဒီပိုင်းဆိုဆောင်းတာ
Where they're gonna have to weather the storm. This
ပြီးတော့ Night Dog က
problems for
အဲ့
them.
ရိုက်ပါညာနော်အစောပိုင်းများနည်းနည်းချမလား
If
ပေါ့
you can get this in
အဲ့ကြည့်ရတာကခုနပြောလို့ဘိန်းကိုထိမ့်မဲ့ကောင်တိတ်မရှိတဲ့အချိန်မှာနော် Night Dog ကကြီးပစ်လိုက်တယ်လေဟိုပဒဲမှာဆိုလဲ AC ကြည့်လို့ရအောင်
This is not a fancy answer, but in the spirit of Maposhka, the coach for Team Spirit, I think Rue is going to need to tank some.
Homelander ဝေး Homelander ဝေးဆိုပါတယ်ဒိတ်
You
ခက်တယ်မဖြစ်ဘူး
map mobility compared to Pvision. Like if we had a map mobility score, it's like 10 to 2 in this game. So I think that there's gonna be times where somebody on Team Spirit just has to let the Night Stalker ulti kill them. And I
ဘောမှာပင်မဲတော့ဒီလောက်နေရမယ်လို့ထားမှမသိဘူးခုတော့ဆောင်းပြရတယ်
stall this game out. I think they scale better on the side of Team Spirit and their team fight. There will be a point where you can't fight into them.
Let's find out if Team Spirit can manage to stall the game out, or if Pvision will run all right over them. It's time for game number 1 of this 2-game series with Sunspan and Kezu.
ကဲတကယ်ကြည့်နေတဲ့ပွဲမျိုးဆိုတာဒီနေ့နှစ်ပွဲပဲနော်ဘောင်းဝင်းရန်တက်နဲ့ပွဲ separate နဲ့ပါရဒါပေမဲ့တခုချိတာက Pari အတွက်နည်းနည်းပိုကောင်းတာတည်ကြရင် Pari ရပြီတူးစီးရမလို့အဲ့နောက်မှလာမဲ့ပွဲကတော့ပိုမိုက်တယ်အဲ့တော့1-1ဆိုရင် tie breaker ပြန်ဆော့ပဲသွားရှုပ်တယ်နှစ်ခေါက်ကြည့်ရမယ်ရန်တက်ကွမ်းဝင်ရဟို1-1ဆိုရင် BO3 ထက်ကြည့်ရဒီပွဲကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့တိတ်ပြီးတော့ tie breaker မပေါ်တော့ဘူးဟောအောက်မှာလဲ VC game ရဲ့မောင်စီကတက်မှသေးကြသလောက်ဖြစ်နေပြီဆိုတော့ဒီပွဲကတော့အဖြေကရှင်းလောက်တယ်2-0ဆိုရင် Spirit 2-0တစ်ပေါက်ပဲ Spirit ကplayoff တန်းရောက်မှာပေါ့လေအကယ်1-1ဆိုရင် Pvision က playoff ရောက်မယ် Pvision 2-0ဆိုလဲဒါ Pvision ပဲ playoff တန်းရောက်မယ်ပေါ့လေအခု bracket ပုံစံကတော့နည်းနည်းလေးအဲ့လို group stage 1ကိုလူးဖို့အတွက်သမင်လောက်ကြတာဒီကောင်တွေကဒီပုံမှန်ကျွန်တော်မြင်နေကြ group stage လို့1 2ကတူတူမဟုတ်ဘူး2ကကြတော့ playoff မရောက်သေးဘူးအဲ့3 4 9နဲ့ကောင်လည်းဆော့2ကပုံနေတာအမှန်တမ်းပြောအဲ့လိုမမိုက်
First of all, pick the morph into the Largo because you know Largo in the offlane he doesn't pressure very much. It's one of his weaknesses. So you get a very nice morphling pick because you think he's gonna do well in the lane, but then they swap it up in the end. So it's like one upping each other. And yeah, IO Night Stalker together. The whole Pvision early game draft. My God, if you're Spirit, you need to play incredibly well to not get dumpstered on your map early on. There's no one with a lick on the range creep to make the Sunstrike miss. I like.
Nice little
Yeah,
cheeky.
man.
Does have some thick cheeks on that Largo as well.
He does.
So. But yeah, they have a lot of healing. I mean, IO Largo on the same team, especially when it's a mid lane Largo. Like, what do we expect to see?
What we're expecting to see is early game aggression. Look at all of their lanes. Largo does very well mid against the Invoker. Night Stalker IO as well. I guess like Morphling doesn't pressure much. He just wants to farm on his own. And then your safe lane is Grim Kez. Sure, it is up against a Tidehunter, but I've played Tide against very good Kezes, and they can maneuver around the Anchor Smasher. Like even though Tide is a good answer to Kez still free farms in this lane.
Yeah. So you were very excited to see the Morphling pick. I was not, of course.
Of course not, because you hate like half the Dota heroes.
No, it's just Morphling and Terrorblade. There was just a period of time for like 2 years straight that they were just picked every single game. So it's just, I need a break.
No, that's true.
KN ကတော့ဖြစ်လောက်ဆိုတော့အငိမ့်စော့မှာ Morphling နဲ့ဘက်ကလည်း IO ဘာညာဆိုတော့သိရမလားအဲ့လောက်ကြီးချပြစ်မယ်တော့မတင်အောင်ဒီပွဲ Duration over KN ဒါကိုစိတ်တင်နှစ်သင်းပုံစံ
means you can go adapt the strike, you can go waveform, you can actually play pretty aggressive. They also buff the innate more, where the more agi you have, the more attack range you have. I don't think it's like crazy changes overall, but the thing is also, this is a Yatoro special. You know, in these big tournaments, you're gonna get the Yatoro Drow, Yatoro Faces Void, Yatoro Morphling. So honestly, I'm all for it.
ကဲเนาะ Yatoro Morphling ကြည့်ရတယ်တန်နေပြီဒီပွဲရတော့တကယ်ကြီးမစော့တော့တော့ပဲ Morphling Yatoro က
Equip initially.
ဒီပွဲတော့ cast again ဆိုတော့အဲ့ဒါကြီးတော်တော်တန်နေပြီးတော့ supporter တွေကလည်းသိမှာ spray damage အဲ့လောက်ရှိတာမဟုတ်ဘူး Morphling ကို pressure ပေးဖို့တော့ stand လည်းမရှိဘူးဆိုတော့ Yatoro ကြီးထွက်လာအောင်
I've won all these amazing games. I don't know if it's that or if he just actually it's just gonna score.
ကဲဒီမှာ 9 class level 2 ကြီးစယူထားတယ်ဆိုတော့နောက်မှာ show ပြီးအောင် Yatoro first play is coming ဒါပေမဲ့ဒီမှာ free line နဲ့အောက်မှာပဲ 9 class ချိန်တော့ဆွဲနေတယ်ပဲမရဘူး first play ကတော့ပေးလိုက်ရ
They got the level advantage and just immediately get to play off it.
ကဲ
Here if you're
ကိုကြီးတော့ပေါ်လမ်းမှာလုံးဝတော့ထိန်းနိုင်မဲ့အနေထားတော့မရှိဒီကတော့ night talker တွေကအခုနောက်ပိုင်း night တိုင်းနဲ့စားခွင့်မရတော့ဘူးဆိုတော့ကိုရီအရင် night talker လေးပြတ်သွားသေးတယ်အားလေးပိုင်း9မိနစ်ကဘာမှလုပ်လို့မရဘူးကဲ
Speaking of
the
Night Stalker, to me, this hero is a hit or a miss. And
ဟုတ်တယ်ရ quality ကလည်း2နေပြီ the channel လာမတော့ပုံမှန်ပဲ Sans Right တွေက ပေါ်လဲလွယ်အောက်လဲလွယ်အိုးဒီဘက်မှာ verify ရနဲ့ Rosetta နေနေတော့မပြောက်အောင်
to be gifted some tangos. Yeah, Night Stalker feels like it's either
င
incredible.
ါမပြန်လာပြီတော်တော်ပြန်လာတာပါငါမမနေ့ကကြည့်ရလဲအဲ့လို AC play time ကိုဆော့ပြရတယ်ဒီကောင်
I would say it's still similar, but it has a lot to do with like the overall state of the game and what tempo you can play in. And I like it a lot with the Pvision draft here this time around. Obviously, you know, you're good.
ကိုကပါရီအနိုင်ထဲတာပဲအဲ့နေများပါတယ်လိုက်တဲ့ဘယ်လိုပြောချင် W1 2.2 ဟိုရ1.5ချက်အားနေလို့
just kind of kill you.
2 စီးပဲထည့်လာလိုက်
Pvision are very much equipped for a good Night Stalker game.
ဒီကောင်းရုံလောက်လေးပေါ့ play off ကြောင်းမကြုံဘူးမနေ့ပြန် play off တွေစပြီလားမသိဘူး play off တော့မနေ့ပြန်ညာ2 3တွေပါစ
Start for Pvision there.
3 4တွေနော်အဲ့3 4နိုင်တဲ့ကောင်နဲ့2နဲ့
Spirits perspective, if you're giving the
အဲ့ပွဲတွေမှာ hair ကဲစိတ်တန်းနဲ့ short ပြီးတင်နေရောက်ရင်3လည်းမရှိတော့ဘူး short ပြီး
I don't know if they can stop it.
ရှေ့ကိုရိုင်းကျုံသွားပြီ
So Anchor Smash takes him out.
ဟုတ်တယ်ဟေးဒိန်းနေနေရတော့ကျွန်တော် separate ကတော့ပိုးရမှာ
I need to talk about because usually when you pick Tide in this matchup it's because you know you get
Duration ကတော့ over ကောင်းတယ်ဒီပွဲကြီးက
you have level 2
တရားကြီးနှစ်သိန်းတွေ့တာပြီးတော့နည်းနည်းလေးသိရမလား
but they're going a complete
Morphling တွေပါတယ်နဲ့
aggressive with the start
လေကင်းတော့ကောင်းမှတင်တာ
notice taking some pressure
အာရော notice မှာတက်ရှောတော့မလား
From Yatoro, Sunstrike does hit.
နောက်ဆိုကတီတီသွားပြီအောင်
Likely will be able to walk away.
နော် lane တွေမှာတော့ separate က hair ကြပဲချာ
a lot of pressure but yeah you can see the full stat build but even so Yatoro and Ru doing a very good job up here. But like talking about the early game, I don't know if Spirit can really push back all that much. I mean, they are doing a good job in the laning. As not me, we'll take a death to his name.
အော်မစစ်တန်းနေတော့ gate ပြန်ရ gate က ender ကြိုက်တယ် over မကြိုက်ဘူးကျွန်တော်အကြိုက်တယ်ပေါ့လေသိရမလားကိုကြိုက်တယ်ကတော့ hero နေတာကြည့်ပြီးပြောတော့ gate ender ကြိုက်တယ်ပြီးတော့အဲ duration over ကောင်း
himself a great lane overall. It's more action mid lane. No one, just a bit of
ဘက်ကတော့
harassment.
လုံးဝသာတော့တော်
And in terms of the 6-minute rotations for the power runes, which team do you think has the advantage?
လုံးဝဖားတယ်နော်
It should be Pvision. I think just simply the fact that so you have no one.
ကဲမြက်ကို die တော့ die မယ်တင်နေဒီကောင်အာယုံနဲ့
you know phase boots into an urn.
ထိုင်ပြီအာယုံနဲ့ကကန်ပေးတာက night glass ဟုတ်တယ်နော်
Strike from Night Class
220
gets
နဲ့
all the spirits right on top of his face with the frog stomp to help out. Good kill from Pvision.
Now, very nice.
ကဲမြက်ကတော့ပေါက်ပြီဟဲ့
Also notice that he
နော်လောင်းအင်မိုကဆိုတော့ဒီလောက်တော့ရှိရရှိမှာပဲ
So
Yo,
for Pvision,
ဖားတယ်ကိုပြောလို့ပဲအဲ့လို damage အားကျန်တယ်အားလေးပိုင်း
so
1 2
if you
ကြီး
wanna rotate to notice up top later again, you absolutely can do either.
Well, Nightmare. This is going to be a pretty difficult hero to take out, especially with the IO nearby. No one.
ကဲနောက်မှာ ice ဒီဘက်မှာတဝဲလို့နေနေရတော့ကဲ
making the rotation.
for IO ဒီဘက်မှာနော်တတ်တော့လိုချင်နေ sense ပဲကောင်းသွားပြီဒါကတော့လောင်းတော့ကွက်တီပဲ
Two kills from Laurel.
ပြောလိုက်လို့ရအောင်လောင်းကပြသွားပြီနော် ice ကြီးတော်တော်ကြီးမိုက်တာဆိုတော့ Pvision နဲ့နှစ်ကောင်လုံးပဲမလျှော့
These early kills actually matter because Pvision they have a super aggressive early.
ဒီကတော့ separate အများကြီးပူတာတယ်ဒီပွဲက
So very, very big counterplay.
ဒီကနေ့ separate ဘက်မှာ85လောက်ရှိတယ် party ဘက်မှာ25လောက်ပဲရှိတယ်
And talk to me about this Grim. I mean, normally we think of two things, which is the Inkswell targets.
Yep.
And, well, we don't really think of Soulblind targets as often because I feel like that's kind of an icing on the cake. It's more the Aghanim Scepter later in the game, the Dark Portrait.
Yeah, it's definitely a big bonus. I think, first of all, I like Grim a lot more than, you know, what the hero used to be. I think with the innate, where if you click people or if you have any spells on them, you see them in the fog, it makes it super nice and easy to trade. Satanic.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's gone.
You don't even need the Sunstrike.
အဲ့ lane နဲ့မှာ Pvision ကြီးကတော်တော်တော့နော်ကြီးတွေပေးနေတာ
Plays on the lanes currently. Hold that.
ကဲမဲလေးပဲနိုင်ရပဲလောက်ကမှာ
So his double kill will be thwarted.
အားမို့တော့ share လာကန်အောင်
Nullified as the tier 1 tower now being pressured from Pvision.
This is a very, very heads-up move from Noticed. I love that. Like, Morphling in the top lane, sure, if you go up against him, it's like a 1v1 farm fest in terms of the CS, but if you go mid, what is Morphling's answer? And what is Tidehunter's answer? They don't want to move.
ကဲစိတ်တန်းနဲ့ထပ်ချောမလားမသိဘူးရောင်းခုလေး TP ကြလာဘယ်ဘူးမှလည်းမရှိဘူးနားမှာ
Satanic left alone for the time
ကဲ Sunstrike တော့ရှိပါမယ်နော်နောက်မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ Magic Stick ကတော့တက်အောင်ဖြစ်နေတာစိတ်တန်းနဲ့ကို try မှာမ
What's
လဲ
nice with Grimstroke is
အမှန်ရာတူပါရှိတယ်နော်စိတ်တန်းနဲ့ကိုထပ်လုပ်ဖို့ကြိုးစားနေအောင်မအုပ်လိုက်ပြီး
against the Tidehunter. But
ကဲအဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော် Pvision နေတော့မြတ်မှာ Tower တွေတော့ထိနေပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်ပေါ်မှာလည်းဘိန်း Wisdom တော့ Toss တီးသွားပြီးတော့နောက်မှာကဲစိတ်တန်းနဲ့ကို hair ဖို့အတွက်ကိုတော့ရာတူတို့အောက်6 damage ပေးတော့ပေးနေပြီးတော့ Sunstrike လောင်းဆိုပေမဲ့လို့အသိတိုးလာ collapse silent တော့မိသွားပြီးတော့ပဲစစ်တန်းနဲ့ Majesty အခု20အားကိုနဲ့တော့တို့မအားလို့ပြန်မပိုင်းမိလိုက်ပြီ
See the power
I don't know
of this
me.
Largo, already level 7. Usually in the offlane, you're not going to be able to do
တော့
anything
ပြန်
like
ပတ်
this.
ဖို့ဟာ yes လွတ်တော့ပါပြီ share reland နဲ့
Now,
အဲ့ separate ဘက်ကကောင်းတဲ့ချက်ကတော့သူတို့ဘာညာမဟုတ်ဘူးဘိန်းအားကိုနဲ့ဒီဘက်မှာ Western 2 row တော့ရလိုက်တယ်ပဒယ်တွေဖြစ်နေတော့
takes its own. And I do think that when you're the team that needs time, stealing a Wisdom Shrine is so damn strong. Like, because it is the supports, they need to back up the course to make the moves in the early game. So both 9-class and Tukalas definitely will be slowed down here.
and what is the theory behind the IO pick, other than the fact that you have this double heal core, well not core, but
First of all, I think the hero is very good. It's also a hero that is nearly perma-banned against Pvision, and it works so well
Okay,
in this draft
Cass
with
got
also
out here.
want to play at the moment.
ဒီကတော့ Majesty တွေမရှိတော့ဘူးအဲ့ဒါပြောရှော့ပြီ
Sunstrike as well, so another
ခုနကဒီကောင်နည်းနည်းလေးခံတောင်းသွားနေဆိုအဲ့လို Magic 1တွေတအားများနေ
already and collapse.
ဟိုတော်တော်မြိုင်တော့မြိုင်နေပါနော်နှစ်သိန်းလုံးကအပြန်လန်ပဲညာတူတို့ကလည်းအောက်ကိုချဖို့ပဲတောက်ချောက်ကြိုးစားနေအဲ့ဒါမတူဘူးလေ
How things are progressing so far for Spirit.
Yeah, sure.
Ducalis trying to find his way in the tree line, but Collapse and company, they will surround and take him
နော်
out.
ဝရီလည်းမြတော့မြ
Okay, yeah, a lot of these early moves. I do think that Spirit are getting more out of this early game than honestly they deserve. Getting multiple kills in this bottom lane, trading the top for the bottom pressure at the moment, and taking Pvision safe lane tower. I'm not gonna lie, they should be very happy with how the game is going at the moment.
But we've had Pvision games where even behind, it doesn't feel like they're rushed.
Separate
at
does
all.
it.
And if they get
Oh,
to that
nice
late
dog,
game, especially
Bob.
the likes of Kez,
အဲ့တော့က drum နဲ့
how
တ
good
မျိုး
is
ပါ
their late game?
တက်
Because
နေတာဟမ်
just looking at the heroes, it doesn't seem no.
Oh,
Not gonna get
nene.
time.
Nice
Bro,
timing.
no,
And
di ba-
their late game is still honestly
တော့
quite
no one ကတော့အဲ့လို separate phase နဲ့ပဲ hair him အားဒီပဲ damage ကတော့ might
also like the itemization. Can you force your Toro to like buy a butterfly MKB where then the illusion kind of owns himself, or is it gonna
ဒီ
be
ကိန်းတော့
something
ကျွန်တော်
different?
ဒီကိုကတော့စိတ်တင်နေဒီပွဲကလို့ငြိမ်သွားမလားလို့ဒါတော့ lane ကြီးက
Stage because
ဘယ်လိုပြောရမလဲ lane ကြီးကတော့ကျုံနေဘူးဒါပေမဲ့ lane ကြီးပြင်နေနဲ့ငြိမ်သွားမလားလို့ထင်
in the Bramble.
ကဲတော့တယ်9 glass ရပြီရပြီ
Dead. Straight up. It's going to be a trade.
ဟော solo game ရနော်မီ
Will be a 1-for-1. But yeah, Night Stalker owns the minute to 20 mark. He's usually like the king of the map, just using your ult against these heroes like Bane, Willow, Invoker. None of these heroes can really stand their ground early on, so even if Pvision are slightly behind early on, I would absolutely expect them to take over the map within the next couple of minutes.
I've noticed working on a Blink Dagger as his first main item after the drums. So just looking to be ultra aggressive. We'll see how that works out for him. I mean, it kind of aligns with what their lineup wants to do. This does seem very early-centric overall,
Yeah.
with a little bit of Kez in the late game.
Because they definitely, like, eventually what they want to reach is like the IO Largo together as, let's see, we have got a sleeve set up, but I think this is more pressure than really anything else.
အဲ့ပွဲကဒီလိုမျိုးချိန်မှာနည်းနည်းနေဝါနိုင်တဲ့
Right, on
ဟီးရိုး
Pvision.
မျိုးတွေတော့
If
ဖြစ်
you're Spirit, you're happy keeping a very stale map where not much is happening, tied bottom, Yatoro stays top.
ကဲ offering
Most
နေ
of
ရ
the
တူ
plays kind of have to be initiated through the Night Stalker. And him having to go drums blink, it's not a bad build by any means, but it is very early game centric.
And does the build change at all for any of these heroes based on the positions? Like Largo, for example, has a Soul Ring going for Spirit Vest. We don't see that in offlane very often.
Oh yeah, right. No, me low light. The goal is shiny, you know. IO.
It is going to hit the eye.
Oh, the get show you me. The get go now. IO solely won that. I don't know.
Taking their own area.
Okay, and I know me. Be hero, hey, maybe ro. Now I'm sign now. Oh, me hammer and the car is in the meow. Oh, I know me. My day, pero if you hope that don't you only allow chaining go me. IO like yeah, solo yara. Experience.
Players understand
they
can play on, you know, not me in the jungle, gets a terrorize into the bedlam just with a Sunstrike combo. And while it is a 1-for-1 trade, it gives a lot of
look.
Collapse can take a nice juicy stack here though, with the help of the Meteor Hammer from Laurel.
I mean, let's see. You need to go here. Go here. Tao lo u sao na wo. Aro no, lei game le. Offlane ဖြစ်နေတာဆိုတော့ဒီပွဲကတော့လက်ရှိဆိုရင်တော့ separate ကတော့နည်းနည်းတော့ပူမိုက်နေပြီခုချိန်အေးဘင်ကတန်းလိုက် Sunstrike
with the Sunstrike as well. Lots of
Oh,
strikes.
ပြတ်တယ်ဟော
Wait for him to finish the job, and Ducalis a little bit too late to the party. Won't suffer the consequences though.
အနေတော့များနေပြီ ဒီပွဲက
Like I said before, he's getting off a lot of good plays. First, the double
Bruce State တခုမှ၄သင်းတက်မှာသူကနံပါတ်1က playoff တန်းရောက်မယ်နှစ်ကကြတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့နှစ်3ကနိုင်တဲ့ကောင်နဲ့ဆော့ရမယ်မဟုတ်ပါဘူး3 4ကနိုင်တဲ့ကောင်နဲ့ဆော့ရမယ်နံပါတ်2ကအဲ့လိုမျိုး3 4နဲ့အဲ့နှစ်နဲ့ဆော့ပြီးမှနိုင်တဲ့ကောင် playoff ရောက်မှာအဲ့လိုမျိုးရှစ်သင်း
And
တော့ playoff ရောက်ဖို့ကမလွယ်ဘူးဖြစ်နေကိုကဆိုလည်းကိုအရင်ပုံမှန်ဆိုတော့ဒါတည်းကတော့တစ်နှစ်က upper သွားလိုက်3 4က lower သွားလိုက်ဆိုအမှ playoff ကရောက်နေ
Pvision want to progress the map currently. Of course, you have IO, you have Night Stalker ult available. It looks like they are eyeing collapse here.
yeah, very tanky with the wraps. We're gonna see the nighttime come from the get the slow.
ဖွဲလိုက်မလားတဲတဲ့ rise ကောင်းလိုက်တာကွာ that know me ဘွဲလုံးနောက်နေတာဒီကောင်တောင်ဝဲလို့ကဆောင်းအလုပ်လုပ်တယ်
See if they can turn this into something else. Relocate up top, but doesn't really look
ဟို
like
တော်
it.
ကောင်းတာတောင်ဝဲလို့
Yeah, Spirit able to dodge two sides of the map now.
You need to commend Spirit on their map play here. Like, a lot of the time when they want to keep an open map, they're playing like a 2-1-2 split. You have one of the cores that is always bodied by one of the supports. Saw it there with Not Me down bottom, very good terrorize, and at the same time, Ru up top protecting Yatoro.
And 9 class.
Needs a tether target.
IO Sunstrike ရပြီနော်အင်္ဂလိပ်လည်းအဲ့တောင်ဝဲလို့တော်တော်ပေါက်နေလောက်ပြီနော်မိယာဒီကောင်ကိုပဲတောက်လျှောက်ဖမ်းလိုက်တော်လည်းမရအောင် terrorize နဲ့ပြန်ကာပေးလိုက်နဲ့
Interesting.
Okay, I mean, it is obviously a good way for him to...
ဒီပွဲမှာတော့နော်မိယာပိုကောင်းတဲ့ 4 ဖြစ်နေတာပဲ
Nice later on, and I think also when this Night Stalker like runs on you, you can Yule him, then still find a position to also get the Ravage off for yourself. So actually, I don't really mind it. It's also a good item when you want to play like a more open map, right? You get more mana regen, a little bit more move speed. If they gank you, it's easier for you to get away. No one hasn't really found a real entry into this game yet. He does have the Vessel available and will get the 14-minute active rune.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like Largo, once he gets that second item is when he really starts to pop off. I mean, question is, does that change with the build that he's actually going? Spirit Vessel, like we said, is not the norm. You're going to see Kaya, you're going to see Ags.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be like the Kaya, maybe some Kaya Sanj if he wants.
Super better နဲ့နော်အဲ့ဘောမောလေးကို
Actually, I think it's quite good against
တက်တော့ရောက်ရ nice တော့အဲ့ nice ကမှဒါဇန်ချင်းမရှိဘူးပြတ်တယ်နော်
counterplay. If you preload this, Bane can't really play. If there's a terrorize, you can
အဲ့
always
တော့မ
take
လို့
that off as
nice
well.
တော့ကစစ်တွေပါတယ်နဲ့မှာနော်တတိကျကျကျုံးနေရ
A lot of games that went, or a lot of kills rather, that went Spirit's way. It is only a 2K.
ကဲနောက်မှာ relocate ဩဒီတဝဲလို့တကောင်တော့ ਨੇ မပေးရောအဲ့ဒါဟာ that know me ဟောင်းရေးတပွဲလုံးနှောက်ချက်ပဲ Pvision
Available, but
relocate ကြီးကလကားကြီးဖြစ်သွားပြီဒီတိုင်း
even with the relocate being used,
ကဲအဲ့မှာ IO ပြဆင်းသွားရှောမလားမသိဘူးကြည့်ရဘယ်နာလဲ
Now online.
တော်သေးတယ်ဘယ်မှမရှိ
For
ဘူး
9 class. It's so weird to see him play these.
တဲ့ရင်နော်မီတော်တော်နှောက်နေတာကွာ Pvision အားလေးတည်ရမလားဟိုဘက်က offlane နဲ့ immoga တွေဆိုတော့ချားကိုကြိုးစားပြီမယ်အဲ့နော်မီဒီကောင်နဲ့တစ်လေ
this guy got to calibrate, you know, from being the weirdo hipster monkey guy who just jumps around on trees. He's starting to definitely develop his overall hero pool.
Coddle makes a little bit more sense just because you can kind of roam free, you can be greedy with farm. Io, you not really being
I mean, I guess the thing with IO nowadays is that you can play it again with maxing spirits. It's quite good. So if you do have a good lane, you can kind of do this. So when the game slows down, you can just farm some camps and be chilling. He was also like some 25-game win streak, as hold that for a moment, Satanic.
Yeah, already
Yeah,
using the
Satanic.
flash and collapse. It's going to be hard
အဲ့မှာ
to...
ဘိန်းတွေပါပါတယ်ဟောရေးစစ်တပ်နေလေတော့ကျုံးနေရအောင်မလား
Will he be spotted?
ရှော်ပြီနော်
They get
Cross
everything
meta,
they need.
easy
Just
ပဲ
a single Fiend's Grip is more than enough, so a great
အဲ့တော့ဟိုဘက်မှာလည်းဒီ normally လုံးချက်တွေကို show နောက်တော့နောက်နေတယ်ဆိုမှဒီတစ်ခေါက်မှာတော့ double လို့နောက်ကကိုဖိုင်းနေတော့တွေ့ပြီကိုဖားရတယ် no one အေးစေးအဲ့တော့ဒီဘက်မှာရှီးရုံဘာညာကျန်တော့ကျန်နေသေးတယ် tornado EMP notice ရှော်သွားတယ်လို့ဒီဘက်မှာလည်း no one rabbit မှာခွဲခံလိုက်ရပြီ two man ကျွန်တော် IO တက်နိုင်လောက်တော့ပိုင်နေ hero ပေးထားပြီမရဘူးအောင် relocate နေတော့ပြန်မပါသွားပဲနဲ့ကျန်နေခဲ့တဲ့ nice stalker ထပ်ပါရှော်ပြီးတော့ပဲကျွန်တော် Pvision အနေနဲ့ကတော့ game 1ကတော့တော်တော်ခတ်သွားပြီဟဲ့ဒီကောင်နေအားလေးပိုင်းဘလို့မှဒီ Morgan Info ကောင်မတော်ဘူးအဲ့တော့မှနော်ဒီဘက်မှာကေးတွေပါတောင်းချောက်ပေးနေတွဲလိုက်ကြီးအောင်ထားခဲ့တော့ Douglas အေးအဲ့ဒါတွဲလိုက်ကြီးဖြစ်ပြီးထားခဲ့တော့ကြီးဖို့များသွားပြီကွာ Morgan Info ကယူအဲ့လောက်ကြီးအားလေးပိုင်းနှိမ့်သွားပြီဆိုတော့
Yeah, just like the understanding that they're pressuring bottom and they do attack mid at the same time because they know if something happens there, they can TP over. I didn't quite spot what happened at the end with the sleep on notice. I don't know if Ru got like a dodge on like the overall relocate towards the very end. But I think just the understanding here that after killing bottom, you can still fight mid, and obviously there's reinforcements, right? You see Collapse, he's like keeping over and making this happen because yeah, I think Pvision, they're definitely struggling here.
Oh, bottom. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, Satanic.
Some trouble for Satanic trying to
get mad. Oh, damage. Echo slash leading. Yeah, like did it now. So.
We'll go down to the anchor smash. So another death. I mean, yes, they lose the invoke.
Hey, you have to roll blow team already. No, let's see Ali by. I drew a yeah free.
On to collapse now.
I call it yeah down here.
He's outnumbered, but he is quite tanky. Not me in the area with the bramble. Still has terrorize at the ready. Just the threat of that's going to be enough for him to be able to walk away.
Yeah, they're not dealing any damage really to Collapse with the build that he currently has.
Perfect.ပြောတော့ခက်တော့ခက်။ဦးကြီးကတော့over 90တော့များပါတယ်။25လောက်တော့ဖြစ်နေပြီ။
Streak on Laurel, he got like 600 gold, and like you said, he has 5 deaths, but his net worth is still very, very good on the Kez. Obviously, you'd prefer not to be 1,000 gold behind Yotoro's Morphling. Needless to say, that guy is the hero of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yotoro now with the Manta style. Took along with the Vlads that he picked up.
ဘာမှမဖြစ်နေလေလောင်းတော့ပါ။နောင်ဆိုတော့ဒီပွဲရတူမောင်းလင်းပစ်ရတော့ကောင်းပါ
Late game versus the Grimstroke. Do you avoid certain items? He looks like he has Butterfly queued up.
I mean, you want
the right choice.
You want to avoid going Butterfly and MKB
Yeah,
together.
they're low deal, man. And no, I'm silent.
TP is coming. He gets
Okay,
attribute
that night though, terrorize. Now, chow, what is it? How we told you, you have to be a guy like that,
gets the kill. Big
For
one.
silence,
First death of the game.
Honestly, I'm happy for them that they find this play because their draft absolutely can do this. Probably could have done that even earlier as well. Notice.
Okay, nice dog, sitting there. I mean,
very
how they are fishing them, you know,
Now stuck inside the bramble, double root.
Now, no, double the get gone now. No, me people saw a low
They get the trade. Obviously, not the one the Spirit wanted, but still could be worse for sure. Like you said, they should not be up in this early game, or at least that was not the plan for Pvision.
Yeah, my mate,
Lead another hero here on Ducalis. But yeah, to go back to the Morphling itemization, so we see that Yotoro has a Pike queued up. You need to play with Pike or BKB.
I mean, we're going to parachute. And Rocky. Oh, yeah, Lord, it's nearly a Tommy. Hey, to get us a call with number 9 glass speaker or a rabbit of Chatavi like we collapse. Oh no, not change out be like the now, but out shall nice stalker. You're not saying I didn't know collapse. Yes, be like that. How they are long. Oh, the kid, oh, we killed man at the fan blood. No one. If I'm a show over here. Hell, longly, I like talk on to Imogalia, so I'm so deep. You know where I could pop in now. Could pop me, Jar. Oh, no one here among.
Incredible against IO when you get there and you don't have to play against like IO Slark, IO Ursa. Like, these kind of own you, but still. Like, it's another one of these performances where also Ru, there's some overperforming going on from these players.
Absolutely. I mean, when's the last time you saw Satanic die 6 times before the 20-minute mark? That is a rarity.
It's definitely been a while, but they just have their number in a lot of these plays right now.
Oh, no, like that. No, you're not a fan in blood.
Yeah, and like you said, Yotoro hasn't been needed in these fights, really. He's shown up for a couple here and there, but for the most part, just been left
when you
have this Morphling come out, like they have heroes that can deal with Morph. I would say
Morph. No, he's a walker TI knows it. He's a walker so that you are the separate call.
25-minute mark. Morphling starts itemizing against Night Stalker to not die. Like, first of all, it's to farm, but then it's to survive. So this is absolutely not the spot they want to be in.
Yeah. Well, see if Satanic can make a comeback. We have seen many of those for this lineup.
Okay, I love it. Magic
Again,
job.
they have yet to lose a single game at this
I
tournament.
wine load. I long.
Right on top of Law, he is demolished. Relocate use Satanic.
Okay, Russian
desperately needing that kill.
Well, and that is the power of some of, you know, their overall mobility. You have Night Stalker, you've got the relocate.
Oh, this is great news.
Okay, no, Dali are so mate. You know how to get that. Russian pilo.
You just got the fresh
So
Desolator.
where's Collapse? That's all we care about.
He is alive, he's got Blink, he's got Yules.
Oh boy.
Okay, collapse.
A little early,
Hey, we
a
mala.
little early Collapse.
ချိန်နေတော့ရှိုးနေသေးတယ်နောက်မှာတဝဲလို့အော် level ဖန်တင်လိုက်တယ်ရောင်း damage ကပေးလို့မရတော့နောက်မှာ terrorize fake တွေလုံနေပြီးတော့ collapse တွေနဲ့အိုး Russian တော့မကိုင်းနေပြီးတော့ nice stalker from backline မှာ2မဆိုးပိုက်တော့မီးနေပြီးစစ်တဲနေအရင်တော့မျိုးနေပြီး surrender မှာ terrorize မပြတ်သုံးခဲ့လာပြီးရချိုးလို့အပိုင်းနေတော့ပြခွဲနေပြီးတော့နောက်ဆုံးမှာ wave နဲ့ to the best ရချိုးလို့ Aegis ကိုစစ်တဲနေကိုတပြိုင်နဲ့ယူလိုက်ပြီးတော့နောက်မှာ that is right IO ထက်တော့ show သွားခဲ့ရပြီးတော့နောက် no one အနေနဲ့ကလည်း哦，这ဘာမှတော့လုပ်ပေးလို့မရဘူးကဲ။အောင်နေပါပြန်ရောက်လာပြီ။ GG တော့ဖြစ်သွားပြီ။အဲ့ပတ်ရ။ကောင်းလိုက်တယ်ရကျွန်တော်ကွာဝေတိုးပြီးကွက်တီကျွန်တော် Aegis ပါရသွားတယ်
And why this team gets Roche one way or the other. Like either he steals it or he makes 5 people hate him and then Yotoro's like, don't worry bro.
။ Duration over တွေပါအဲ့ဒီများသွားပြီပွဲရ။အဲ့ modeling Aegis ရသွားပြီ
All the hard work was collapse.
And this is the stuff that you're gonna see in like
ကောင်းတယ်ကွာအဲ့နားလေးမှာခိုက်နေ
collapse. Like understanding that you can go here and even though you're not fully like stopping them from like you're not gonna be stealing it, you make so much time. It turns into the daytime. Look at how much space and like effort he's just tanking overall.
ရှောင်းလေးလို့ပြီးတော့နောက်မှာရတရိုကြီးကလည်းလုံးဝဟိုရောက်လာတဲ့ time နဲ့ right time လေး
Nice layup. I got this one.
အဲ့ wave လေးကလှတယ်ကွာနှစ်ကောင်လုံးကွက်တီစစ်တန်းတွေကပြော Aegis ကလည်းအရာ
Nothing else, but Yotoro basically had nothing to do other than wait for him, and then he could just clean up.
Oh man.
The table was set by Collapse, and Yotoro went ham. Devoured that buffet.
Now it's a 10k lead with the Aegis on hand.
မြက်ကကိုဖားပါနော်ပြစ်လိုက်တာကြီး
Like plan even that Pvision are looking for here. Definitely not an easy game to execute from this point onward. They do still have a lot of power spikes that are coming. Obviously their scale is like, you know, nothing bad at all. You have Largo, you have Night Stalker, you have Kez. If you can get a couple of BKBs going your way, I think that would be one kind of timing that they'll be looking for. And of course, the Dookie Duke Aghanim Scepter on the Grimstroke, always very good against the Morphling.
Is Satanic gonna have double-digit deaths this game?
He very likely could. He's at 7.
ပုံမပြန်လေးရနိုင်ကလေး
Far off. He's gonna need to turn this around if Pvision are gonna hold on at all. Remember, they only need a single game in this series to secure top of the groups here.
ပြန်လာဖို့ကတော့နည်းနည်းတော့ခက်မယ်ဘာလို့လေကင်းကြရင် carry ရအကွာကြီးပြ Morphling နဲ့ Cast ကဘာမှလုပ်လို့မရ
Get the 2-0 here.
A Spirit with the Aegis.
high ground တော့သွားမလားမသိ
2.5 minutes.
Yules as well on
I mean,
Nutney.
how much do they want to get out of this? Obviously, just taking the Roche in general is a great deny.
No, I believe that they should be getting, instead of 2.5 minutes, there's a very high chance you're getting all the tier 2s and outpost control, which then just gives you the overall map. There's no need to really push for a Rax. You could hit the high ground to force people back, but I think closing out all the tier 2s would be the main objective. As Collapse found himself stuck on a tree line.
ဘာလဲကညက်
Not as bad as one of the PGLs where he got stuck on a cliff for 6 minutes. I feel like that was maybe also Tidehunter. I think he just ended
ဟုတ်
up
တယ်
using
နော်
the
ပ
map
ပီကကောင်းတယ်ဆိုကုရု level မရောက်သေးဘူး
I vaguely remember
Coach, man.
that. You guys are teasy, but
No,
နော်
Collapse
IO
really
ဆို
just
ဘယ်လိုအသုံးချရမယ်ဆိုတာသိမသိ
right
ဘူး
off the cliff, man.
ဟောငကောင်မဆို IO ပေးလိုက်ရင်အကူလို့ရတယ်ဆို draft တွေက IO alchemy ဆိုပါ
up
တော့
and running for Pvision.
အဲ့တော့မှ necro like ကန်တော့ပါလို့ sound ကြက်နေအကွက်
Cute
တွေ
little animation on the Froggy Frog. Wanna see later, you know, because you can turn into the Largo, maybe steal the Croak, give it to a Larl if you want. I don't know if that's like his main target. I think turning into the Kez is also pretty chill if you want. Of course, Night Stalker, you can steal the Silence.
I mean, surely he doesn't want to turn into Largo in a fight. It's not, can't be that
I mean,
good.
you can steal the spell and like
I
Croak
mean, I'm
and
not
just
saying
turn
it's
around.
bad. It's just that surely there's better options. Like even the Night Stalker would be better, I would think.
Honestly, I don't really know. I think if you wanna make Larl pop off, which I don't know if you need to help him do that because you're already owning anyway. At
He
this
ain't no support. That's a
Okay,
morphling
no,
carry
no, di ba
right
matawa
there,
yun,
tell you
techo.
what.
Let's see a Toro though, bro. He's big picture type of player.
It's true.
But honestly, at this point too, I think his ult is kind of a bonus. He might just go rampant even without it. As 50 seconds left on the Aegis, did clear every single tier 2 tower, and they picked up a gem.
What's the Aghanim Scepter timing here? Oh my god, I was actually memeing, but he has a greedy enchantment on Grimstroke, so he's only 1,000 away from Dark Portrait already. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, Grim farms fast. You can clear waves with Ink
ကဲဒီ
Sword
မှာ
as well.
invoke က ban တော့ထိန်းထားသေးတယ်ရောက်ရင်နောက်မှာ chaos matters ဟုတ်တယ်တော့လှုပ်လို့တော့မရ
And this is
ဒီ
what
ပွဲ
I'm
တော့
talking
nice
about.
talk ကကြီးပုံနေရလဲပါတယ်အဲ့လိုသူတို့ Pvision စောနေကြ hero တွေမစောဘူးပါဒီပွဲ nice talk ကဆိုလဲနော် notice ကတိတ်မမှတ်
Like, you might as well have just
သူလဲကျွန်တော် idea တအားနဲ့
They definitely expected this game to go better because Night Stalker, even with not the best early game, if you find
Alors,
ways
BKB
to
var
on
low
the
nedir?
enemy draft, like collapse on a guy, you have the relocate. I do think that maybe it has a bit to do that no one is playing Largo. Usually he's, I think, a lot more of a playmaker for the team. Set up the tempo, set up the
Okay,
pace
Hacharu,
overall,
di ba
like,
ma
get all
fly
the
ma ya?
relocates going. But this
maybe a
time
little
around,
bit too cute.
line မှာသွားနေပြီနော်
maybe
အဲ့
let's
agent ကတော့နည်းနည်းပဲကျန်တော့
Night Stalker to make a lot of things, you know, happen in this early to mid game. And
Hang on,
really
but
think
yeah,
that
Aegis
happened.
don't machine
There's Toro with the end of the Aegis going for a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we'll get the tower. Well, it is fortified, so maybe not. They're going to play it safe. 13k lead has truly ballooned after that Roche fight.
Yeah, and
Now
they also-
Shiva is online for Laurel.
You have full map control. As Pvision, they still have 2 pretty good wards out. You can see the one here on no one and one on the bottom side of the map, but Collapse, walking around with a 13k gold lead and the gem, you will soon say goodbye to most of your map.
ကဲ no one
Now finds himself a
BKB
frog.
ရှိပြီမရဘူး
Delicious treat
အဲ့
after
ဒါပြော
delicious treat. Even a Fiend's Grip, this BKB
ဟိုဒီပွဲ drop နည်းနည်းဟာသွားတယ်
completely
လို့ပြော
useless
တာ
combo, and 9
အေးအမ
lives.
9 class ကြီးဆင်းလာတာမ
I think
တွေ့ရ
they
တယ်
spotted him just on the outskirts of the dust.
ဟိုဘာ
He's
မှ
taking the correct way. He's got a
9
couple
class
of
ကတော့
seconds
လွတ်သွားသေးတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့
to
အဲ့ဒီမှာကိုဖားကလည်းမျက်မှာဘာမှလုပ်လို့မရဘူးပြီးတော့ notice ဟိုဟာ night talk ကလည်း BKB တော့မပါသေးဘူးဆိုတော့တကယ်ပဲမှာဘာမှအဲ့လိုမျိုးနော် Pvision ချရတာမလွယ်ဘူးဖြစ်နေအဲ့တော့ cast လောက်ပဲရှိတယ်
So
cast ကလည်းကျွန်တော်နောက်ဝင်နေဆိုတော့ကော3កောင်လုံးတစ်လေပါရီက
without Kez going crazy.
At this point, my eyes.
ဟုတ်တယ်အဲ့တော့နောက်ပွဲကဆောင်းကောင်းသွားပြီနောက်ပွဲကနိုင်တဲ့ကောင်နံပါတ်1ရောက်
The Morphling illusion.
Barry
I'm
needs a
pretty
friend.
sure if you're 9 class, you're tethering that one. You're not tethering a hero anymore.
နောက်ပွဲကအဖြေဖြစ်သွားလောက်
Trying to make it go ham. The only thing with Morph Illusion is it's honestly like it doesn't have the highest HP. Of course, it's gonna have a butterfly, which at that point it's gonna be quite strong. Rue trying to set up, but of course Night Stalker notice. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
collapse with the Yules.
ကဲဒီမှာ nice talk က
Really
show
over and over. Not me gets that one.
အစိမ်းချောင်းတွေပါပဲစဉ်းစားနေတယ်
Top tier vision is so like there's so many small things going into it. Like look at Spirit, they're warding their own triangle because when you're up this much gold, you understand that the enemy team they need to start being creative. They're gonna farm your top jungle, they're gonna try to squeeze in here or there. Without this ward, you're not finding this kill on a random Night Stalker in your own triangle. But this is just game sense and understanding of what the enemy team can do.
Well, they have the axe, so the question is, do they just wait for Spirit to come high ground? Although there's no Aegis,
ကဲ
so
ခ
they
င်စတော့
really
မဆိုးရအောင်
aren't in
စပ်
any
တာ
rush.
မောကလင်းဒူကလေးနည်းနည်းတော့လုံးလို့ရရရ
It's going to align with the butterfly, which, weirdly enough, the Grimstroke is going to
ဟို
be...
ရအဲ့ဒီကိုဒီကောင်လေးမို့အချိန်ဆွဲဆွဲဥမာဒီမှာ
It's
Richard ပြန်
definitely
တောက်မှ
the
နဲ့
most
စ
you're
ပရက
happy about. I would assume if you're Pvision, I don't know if you need to smoke necessarily right now, but you need to be contesting the second Roche. That's going to be the name of the game currently, where also you see them use a relocate in the top lane, you know, push out some more waves, squeeze in a little more gold, try and get no one closer to his Aghanim Scepter.
And Laurel just looking for anyone to leave the base for Pvision. No one connected to Io. Gonna lick off Collapse. The rest of his team nearby. There's the
ကဲတော့တယ်ဒီဘက်မှာတော့လာကိုနည်းတော့ပိတ်ဟာဒီဘက်မှာဘိန်းကလည်း
onto the cats with the
ဖမ်းသွားပြီထမ်းမကိုက်အော်
everything used.
တစ်ချမ်းနေလှုပ်လို့တော့မရလိုက်ဘူး
They couldn't get anything going for Pvision. They're gonna lose some buildings.
အေးမှာချီုံရတော့ fly နေနော်အဲ့တော့ပွဲတော့ပြီးသွားပါပြီဘယ်လိုမှလှုပ်လို့မရ
You
ဘူး
know, the gate outside the base, they see Satanic walk in immediately and they just get it. This is 40 seconds down without him. No relocate available anymore as well. This is a free racks.
Yeah, not even Dark.
ပွဲကတော့ရက်ကြည့်နေထားတွေပါဖြစ်ကုန်ပြီပေါ့
To find another Yule's play onto the Grimstroke. Will he even have time to use the Dark Portrait? No. 45 seconds with no Ducalis.
This is bad
This
news,
is two
Shannon.
sets at the very least, if not more.
နော်လွယ်ကူရိုးရှင်းဖြစ်သွားတယ်
Honestly, I think without the
Hey,
gripper
game
here,
wow.
even if Kez respawns, you can just keep going.
Another anchor, this time onto Aya with the damage coming out from the Dark Willow as well. Sunstrike not needed yet again because the damage is overwhelming for Spirit now.
Who's dying next? Let's keep up the 1-by-1 train.
Well, I want to see the Dark Portrait at least once. He's going to be up in 15 seconds. This is an Alacrity Morphling.
Just a
Now,
casual
for
460
the Mega
damage.
Creeps. Yeah, no big deal. An Aghanim Scepter by Laurel. Okay. This is going to be
အဲ့တော့လှုပ်ချင်တာလှုပ်ပြီးတော့အေးစစ်စစ်လေးပြန်ပတ်သွားပြီ
People
နေ
are
ထားရ
definitely
တော့
gonna be
separate
stacked up. There's no summons, no illusions to tank any of that. As the Spirit will play this very cleanly, get nearly everything apart from
ဂျာနေတော့ညီလေးကပဲအောက်ကိုပြေးဆင်းသွားတယ်ဘိန်းနဲ့တွေ့ပြီးသွား
taking.
မဟုတ် no one လာကိုကြီးဖြစ်နေရလဲပါတယ်ပေါ့ no one လို့တော့မထင်အောင်မက်ကနော်
No one not smoked right now.
လောက်ကပျောက်ချက်ပဲ
They are
Gonna
scanned
end up
out.
showing. Yeah, they are aware, but again, Spirit at the major advantage now. 30 seconds till road. Obviously, just wait for that.
Man, it's just a tough one to also contest here. Like, how do you do it? You know, Spirit, they have outpost control. Of course, there aren't any buybacks available yet for them, but even so, like, you have incredibly fat heroes. Yatoro as well, getting very close to Ascadi. You have Rue, who's getting close to an Aghanim Scepter. Also, I love that collapse. In my opinion, this is an underbought item, the Krelos Crozier. Like, just the passive, where you reduce enemies, like, health restoration by 30%.
Yeah.
We see a lot of Kodos, we see a lot of Necros, there's Ios in the game. It's like, also, you go very fast. You
Hey,
have
now
no
don't
sector.
BKB
It's
nice
quite
one.
nice. I do think this is an item we should see more, especially when there's heals in the game.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There's the Roshan Belch, one of your favorites.
That's right. Pvision, they're going to try to go for this, but we'll see Spirit.
Okay, and I'm
already
nice talk,
ready. They're going to try to go on to the Dark Willow to start.
ဟုတ်တယ်လှုပ်ကြည့်အောင်မလားတောက်လျှောက်ပဲ BKB စစ်တန်းနဲ့ပြေးရိုက်ဟုတ်သေးတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့နောက်မှာပြီးသွားရင်တော့စစ်တန်းတွေက BKB တော့မရှိတော့
Get a single kill. Can they get more?
Relocate.
ကဲ no one လည်းကြိုက်ခံရပြန်ပြီကိုပါအိုး I relocate လေးနဲ့အလာလေဒါပေမဲ့ဒီဘက်ကိုလမ်းကြိုက်နေတယ်ရောက်ရင် rain အောင် what the fuck
Gonna cancel,
Ah.
but eventually.
အဲ့ဒါမကန်ဆယ်ဝဘူးလားငါလည်းကွာ
Double kill for him there.
GG
As a
Okay,
cataclysm,
so
it's
Ravi
gonna be
here.
for the style points. Triple kill for your Toro. Make it an ultra and
Oh,
make it
I'm gonna
a
load him up, 5 minutes down.
rampage. Beast mode enabled for your Toro.
အိုးဘက်ကြီးကို relocate ခေါ်တာအဲ့ဟိုးဘက်ကြီးကိုလိုက်ကြိုက်တာတော့
Game away from securing themselves number one in the game.
Oh, this is gonna be a spicy.
ဟိုးဘက်ကြီးထိလိုက်ကြိုက်တာလွန်တာပေါ့
Like, this is some prime form. You know, they bust out the more.
ကိုကြီးရထင်တော့တော့ကြည့်မကောင်းအောင်မြောင် no one သူ့ hero သူပြန်ဆော့မှရ
Crazy plays in this.
no one လာကိုနေကြတော့ no ဟို mid ကတော်တော် dip သွားဟောလာမကလည်းအဲ့လိုဒီလောက်ကပျောက်မနေဘူးဆိုတော့နောက်မှာ
And if you're Pvision, I think you definitely did not get going the way you wanted, especially with this early draft. Like the Io, the Largo, the Nine Sock, you didn't really get any plays going.
ကဲ mouse နဲ့ BC ကလည်းပြီးသွားပြီ
Felt like it was a little all in on the early game for Pvision. If things didn't go picture perfect, that they were going to suffer the consequences, and they did just that. In the last second switch to Largo.
ကိုလေကိုကနေလေးကတ်တယ်မဟုတ် Pvision တော်တော်သဘောကျတော့ W1 ထက်လည်းပိုဆိုးသွား 2.2 လို့ကောင်းပါလေ
Useless
အဲ့တော့နောက်ဆုံးပွဲကတော့ရေကုန်ရေကန်းကျုံးသွားပြီ
have to be the ones that are setting the pace.
နောက်ဆုံးပွဲကတော့ရေကုန်ရေကန်းပဲနိုင်တဲ့ကောင်နံပါတ်1ရှုံးတဲ့ကောင်နံပါတ်2ဟော game 2ကအဖြစ်ပဲ
Like the gameplay.
ကြတော့အားလုံးပဲကျွန်တော်ပြန်တွေ့မယ်နော် game 2ရအောင်
Lanes, I think is not normal. Like 3 or 4.
ဟိုဘက်ပွဲ VC နဲ့ mouse ကလည်းပြီးနေတယ်
Tez in the safe lane by like minute 10. Yatoro having a full free game. He has one death to his name. You picked offlane Night Stalker to at least pressure this Morphling a bit or play with more relocates. They did not get those plays going.
No, a lot of Sunstrikes hit and collapse. I mean, again, despite the scoreline, 4-2 doesn't look that impressive. This guy absolutely owned this game on the Tidehunter. That Roche play, which we'll get the highlight, I'm sure, coming up next.
Oh, this better be a highlight, bro.
It is just sickening how consistent he is at doing this. Didn't get the Aegis steal himself because they killed Roche and he died first, but Yatoro was the greedy boy and took it for himself.
There just has to be like a rule. When this guy is alive, you need to either kill him first, stop roaching, find him, do something. Because you know that this team, it doesn't matter if someone is dead, if there's something they don't have. If they have just a sliver of any type of chance to contest, they will be there.
And they will almost always, I mean, I wonder what their percentage is.
It's too much.
Their success rate at taking the Aegis, it is absolutely absurd. As we go to the panel.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Something in the air indeed, Brian. There's something in the air for Collapse at EWC. It's just magical.
Yeah, there's been a lot of series so far where we go in with a team that we're like, on paper they could win, but in general the results have just gone the way that we would have expected, and this was such a pleasant, I wouldn't even say it's like a surprise, but I'm like excited to see that Team Spirit won that game, because first off, if they lost game 1, then game 2 wouldn't have mattered. Now we're effectively in a best of 1 to decide who wins the group, but that was an awesome high-level performance from Team Spirit. It was honestly a good performance from both sides, but I think they threw more punches effectively in the early game.
Yeah, the story of this game was, can Team Spirit weather the storm? Because we saw this really strong early mid-game timing from the double sustain heroes from Pvision, but they didn't have to weather the storm. They were the storm. They were setting the tempo at some point in that early game. They made all these tiny little moves at the start that we're going to look at earlier. We're going to look at later that gave them a bit of that lead, but Pvision just could not play into them at a certain point, and I really liked that they were able to bring their Morphling through the gate and play off of him early on. And Pvision, they were definitely caught off surprise.
Yeah, I know we're gonna look at how Spirit will be able to set the pace, but I wonder why Pvision was not. Because is it the Largo? We haven't seen them do Largo mid before, Brian. Did you feel like it played out the way you wanted it to? Obviously it lost, but did you feel like it still had the impact that Pvision wanted from it?
I mean, I thought what was really cool about the Largo mid was that, you know, we were talking about pregame, is Largo going to rotate to Morphling's lane, or like how are they going to do this? But they actually brought the Night Stalker IO to Largo's lane, so they almost treated him like he was an offlaner in the sense of how they rotated the early game. I don't think the Largo was meant to have, like, it wasn't the pick that was meant to win them the draft. Like, the Largo was rotated to mid, I think, in order to enable this Night Stalker, but at the end of the day, it did not have the impact you wanted because you bought this vessel, and you did get one crucial kill on Yaturo's Morphling before his Manta came out. But, you know, you mentioned that, like, why weren't they aggressive? I honestly feel like there were so many small plays from Team Spirit, whether it's Yaturo going through the gate, whether it's Rue going towards the mid lane. Like, there were just so many cool rotations, and, like, this was by far the most enjoyable early game for me to watch. Like, I know Team Spirit came out on top, but there were just, it was literally like watching a fight where they're just throwing punches back and forth nonstop.
Yeah, and I do think they just showed up very heavily on lanes today on Team Spirit. Like, for Pvision's draft to work, and we could have seen an entirely different game if the lanes hadn't gone so well, they needed to get a couple of the early game kills, group up early, and take advantage of Team Spirit's heroes needing more scaling and more time. But that lane on top with Bane and Morphling actually ended up doing really well against the Night Stalker, which maybe they didn't factor in, and that Tidehunter also had a fantastic lane. So you had two side lanes that won, and sure, you got a kill on Invoker in the early game, but because the side lanes were able to move their supports around, Invoker also had a good start.
Yeah, so let's take a look at those moves that the supports were making, because those were instrumental to having Team Spirit be in this position.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Rue in specific because he was everywhere on this Bane, but this is him setting up for the kill on No One's Largo after Laurel had died in that early game. And we see Not Me also joining from the side, but this was essential for Laurel to get back into the game after him getting killed earlier on. And this isn't the only time we're going to see Rue pop off here in this early game. He actually goes and steals the Wisdom Rune, enabling Team Spirit to get a double Wisdom Rune. He actually just walked for free behind the IO Night Stalker and did the last second Nightmare. In this clip, we're going to see Not Me catching Satanic's Kez with that last second Bramble, clipping him, and then they were able to take advantage of Tidehunter's level 6. In this clip, we also see Not Me just getting the kill on IO between 4 heroes, and sure, they get the trade, but that is a trade you take anytime, Brian.
Yeah, and meanwhile, throughout all of this, we see at 12 minutes into the game, they're taking like a 5-stack Ancients. I'm just looking at all these early game rotations, and I'm like, when did he find the time on Rue to stack these camps 5 times amongst all of these ganks? The fact that they were able to, like Mira said, they had a good start to the top lane that allowed Rue to effectively rotate between mid and bottom, and then also in the meantime be stacking a camp. Like, there's just so many little factors that added up there, and I think for me, it's obviously Rue's a very good player. I think he massively overperformed this game. Like, this is the type of thing we talked about in the pregame, which is that any player at any point for Team Spirit can step up. I feel like multiple players at multiple different points stepped up, and for Rue specifically, this might have been one of the best early games I've ever witnessed.
So where do we want Pvision to take this? Because this was an outplay, right? Because we looked at the draft, we're like, okay, on paper, this should be Pvision early and then Spirit late. That's kind of like their plan, and it turned out to be Spirit all the way, basically. So with the plan of Pvision there wasn't much wrong with it per se. How are you going to adjust from it? This is also their first loss, Effie, so we don't know how they do with adjustments.
It very much was. I do think this is not the most difficult adjustment because their draft was very one note. It's like, we have sustain, we're going to run at you, and we're going to heal, and you're not going to be able to do anything with your late game. It's just a matter of making sure that you can fight at all stages of the game, and they could just change up their mid hero, not have a Largo, have something like an Ember Spirit that can play tempo, and it would make it easier.
I mean, based on what Team Spirit's done this event, which is like good performances, but nothing mind-blowing, if I was Pvision after that game, I'd be like, okay, you got us. Like, I was not ready for you. Came ready to play today, guys. I'll just say that I always appreciate the little item choices that players make. This was a really cool Yule's pickup from Collapse on Tide. It's so amazing defensively against the Silence of Grimstroke as well as Night Stalker, but also Willow as a support. Like, if you don't have Bane there, and you don't have this Yule's, there's no setup for kills on the map, but because you have this Yule's, that's what item Willow usually goes for, and it sets up all of her spells. So it kind of gave them this extra kill combo on the map, and I think Pvision, they just weren't ready for this. I think that's why Satanic died. There were multiple times where if I'm looking at on paper at Team Spirit's draft, I'm like, they don't really have the setup necessary in order to kill me. They have a bunch of soft disables. I'm like a mobile guy with a dispel and everything. But yeah, just well played over all around.
I have a Morphling question for you, or rather a question about Morphling.
Okay.
This was the second game we saw Morphling, the first win for Morphling. Could it have been any other carry, or was the fact that Yatoro was Morphling a big deciding factor here?
I would say it was a big deciding factor, and I really liked the confidence to pick it there because I don't think many heroes could have been able to out-CS a Night Stalker like that. And also, the self-sustain and durability of a Morphling is what enables Bane to move around. Like, if it's a typical carry hero that gets bullied out of lane and needs the babysitting, you don't move around like that on Rue. So definitely a really cool pick. It was the second Morphling game at this EWC, the first win. So there's something there, Brian.
Yeah, there's like a group of 5 carries. It's like Life Stealer, Morphling, Weaver, Tiny. They don't really jungle very fast, but they're also really good at staying in their lane. And you wanted a hero that, like Mira said, is self-sufficient, but also the bonus of the Morphling is against Io specifically, you want a carry that it sees a reload coming on top of it and it has an escape plan. They managed to 4-man gank him one time, but that illustrated it required a lick into a Night Stalker silence into like a perfectly timed ink swell. I mean, it was just, that was the Morphling. What he always creates is you need a very specific answer in order to be able to kill him. And Yatoro, I think better than anyone else, will recognize your draft is kind of awkward when it comes to killing Morphling. And the Night Stalker pick was amazing for Pvision's draft, but it did not solve that individual problem unless they got momentum, which the Morphling also stopped. So I do think it was a very pivotal pick.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few heroes in Dota that even when they're not good and they're nerfed, I was talking to Brian about this in the green room, but they fill you with dread. Like, they fill you with a sense of despair when you're playing against them because you feel like you're racing against the clock. And Morphling is one of those heroes that if you don't win the early game and you look at the enemy draft and they have a Morphling, you just, all your hope and optimism is like slowly going out the drain. And I feel like that's what it must have been for Pvision.
Well, it sounds like they have a lot to recover from. This is their first loss in the group stage, as we said, and it's an important series. There's only one more game left between these two teams in this group, and this game will decide, because there's no chance for tiebreakers in this group. So this one game will decide which one of these two teams gets to skip the survival stage and is instantly locked in to top 8 here at this EWC. A lot of pressure on this upcoming game. Let's find out how our commentary team of Sunsfed and Kezu feel about this series in particular.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights, better get right, champion.
We were there for every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind, and we're here. Now, the proud founding partner of EWC, powering the biggest event in gaming, shoulder to shoulder with the world's best, making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion. Reach your impossible.
Hi there, Suns fan here with...
That's me, Kezu.
Well, it's just Kezu, but yes, welcome to another series of great dotes. We have Pvision versus Team Spirit.
Yep.
I mean, one of these teams is undefeated. That's Pvision, Spirit. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Just double checking. You don't never want to be wrong here. What do you think about this series? I mean, these are two top dogs of the group.
True. I mean, like you said, Pvision, they're still undefeated. To me, they look a little bit better than Spirit. But at the same time, without throwing some shade at the other teams, I don't think these two teams were tested that much yet. So it's a good test for both of them to actually play against an S-tier team.
That's right. Now, has Yotaro shaved his head or changed his hair color today?
Is that a question to me?
Yes.
No, he is not.
How do you know? Have you seen him?
No, but I can tell. He waits for the final day. That's when he comes with like Super Saiyan hair, or like blue hair, or a bald head.
Okay, nobody cares anymore. This has gone for too long, so we'll see you guys for the next series. Thanks.
This year, the EWC Dota 2 format is more cutthroat than ever. This is how it's going to go down. The tournament starts with the group stage. The teams will be split into 4 groups of 6, where they'll play in a round-robin format. The top teams of each group qualify straight to the playoffs, and the bottom 2 are eliminated. The remaining teams move on to the survival stage, which is a single elimination best-of-3 gauntlet-style bracket, the team's final chance of survival. The first round of the gauntlet bracket starts with the 3rd and 4th placing teams from the group stage. The winner will meet the 2nd place team from group stage in round 2. Only 4 teams will move on from the survival stage to the playoffs. The playoffs are a best-of-3 single elimination bracket, where a single mistake can be the difference between moving on and being eliminated from the tournament. A 3rd place decider will be played for a bigger chunk of the prize pool, as well as valuable club championship points. The grand finals match is a best-of-5 for the 2 teams that have fought their way through each stage of the tournament. Only one of them will remain undefeated and claim the EWC 2026 Dota 2 trophy.
We're getting ready for game number 2 between Pvision and Team Spirit. A unique situation for Pvision. We don't know what they're gonna do when they're a game down, because they have not been a game down yet. Meanwhile, Team Spirit, when they were 1 game down, they did not lose a single game since. And we know what they're doing. What's coming our way in the draft, that remains to be seen as we're narrowing in on that one, Effie. I want to know what they should be doing, what they should be addressing. Is there anything in the opening that you would like to see changed? Because we did see Team Spirit prioritizing that overall first pick Bane in this game in particular, and we saw Rue on Bane, and you highlighted him specifically because he made it look S tier.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job, and conceptually it's a great hero versus Pvision with a lot of the strategies that they want to run. The IO being an example, the Kez opener that they played didn't necessarily work out. So if Team Spirit run back this starting Bane, I don't think we're going to see that Kez into IO follow-up. I do think they're going to fall back on their Keeper of the Light that they just look so strong on here.
Yeah, there's so many dimensions to drafting that I remember saying this in game 1 as a carry's perspective, that if I'm playing against Bane, I'm either picking like an illusion guy or I'm hoping one of my supports has a reliable Fiend's Grip cancel. Otherwise, my game is just generally really hard to play. And I think Pvision might have gone a little bit too all in on their own draft. And there are times where there's a healthy blend of dealing with the problems that are presented to you by the enemy team's draft. I think because Pvision played around their own timings almost entirely with their draft, that means that it will fall pretty short, pretty flat when you lose momentum or steam in the game. Like even just as simple as they open Bane, you have a reliable save from Fiend's Grip. Like that's the kind of simplicity that I would like to see inserted back into Pvision's draft. And so I'm just going to be keeping an eye on this game because, you know, Kezu mentioned neither of these teams have really been tested yet. And I think it's like in theory, it's like, okay, yeah, you're not going to underestimate your opponents, but at the same time, these are things they're probably have been getting away with, where they're allowed to play for their own draft, and you have to step it up and think about what Team Spirit's ready to bring it today. So what problems is Maposhka going to present with Puppey in game 2?
Well, we have a slight change in bans, only very slight. So of course the teams changed sides with now first pick going the way of Pvision. The only change in bans is that the team that has first pick, instead of banning Axe, they banned Doom. We did see a Doom ban in the second phase, of course. And of course the change with the Willow position for most likely getting picked up first.
That's really interesting to me because I thought the support that Pvision would try to steal is actually the Bane, but they go for the Willow instead and they double down on the Hoodwink first phase ban. To me, this says that they think that the offlane is the problem actually, and that if they ban Hoodwink and take Dark Willow, then there is not a strong enabling support for Collapse. But I still think
ကဲတော့ပြန်စနေပြီမတဝဲလို့တွေမှာလူကုန်ပြီတလားတဝဲလို့ကြောင့်ခုနကပြီးတော့အားလေးပိုင်းလိုက်ချတာချလို့မရဘူးဖြစ်နေနော်မီတဝဲလို့ရဆောင်းဆိုအဲ့တော့ကဲဒီတစ်ခေါက်မှာတော့တဝဲလို့ first pay နော်ဒီဘက်အဲ့တော့စပရစ်ကတော့နော်မီရဲ့ Rubik တွေပါတော့ထပ်တော့ရွေးထားသေးတယ်
purely in the 2 carries that are banned every
အဲ့တဝဲလို့ဆိုရတာခုန game 1တော့တဝဲလို့ခံရတယ်လိုက်ဖိရင်လည်းတဝဲလို့နဲ့တွေးလိုက်ပြန်သေးလိုက်
the carries
ဟောပြီးတော့အချိန်ကြီးလဲကြာ4ရက်3ရက်လောက်နဲ့လာတယ်ပြီးတကောင်းIO လည်းရသေးတယ်ပြီးတော့တဝဲလို့
and I guess I mean there's times as you go on later in the tournament, if you ban a combo piece that you're effectively banning 2 heroes, I think people think they're getting 2 for 1 by banning these, and that's why they're doing, or effectively 3 for 2, I guess, by banning SF and Drow.
ကဲနောက်မှာ Bane ban တယ်
And Rubik, go ahead.
ဒီပွဲအဆောင်ကြည့်ကောင်းပါပြီအရေးကြီးပါပြီတပွဲပဲသိရမလားအဆုံးဖြတ်ပွဲပြောပါပြီနိုင် play off တန်းရောက်မယ်ရှောင်းရင်2-3နဲ့ပြန်ဆုံးရမယ်ဆိုတော့ဟောအကိစ္စကတော့နည်းနည်းတော့ရေးကြည့်ပါပြီ
and maybe what type of offlaner your enemy team can play into it, whereas with these 2 picks, world's your oyster. You can go anywhere.
Absolutely, yeah. If you have Treant Protector, you are like, okay, what ranged carry are we gonna pick? But like you said, we virtually know nothing about what the guys are gonna do. I think it's funny because sometimes you get the, okay, let's just pick Drow. You know exactly what our strategy is, but can you beat it? And then sometimes it favors teams to just say, okay, we're revealing absolutely no information. Because Rubik and Willow, they're kind of just standalone strong laners. Like, it doesn't particularly say anything about their lane duo or their counter matchups in the game. I don't really factor this in too much. It's like both of them offer unique things, a little bit of damage, a little bit of team fight. What do you think so far, Amir?
Well, they do end up banning the Treant, so maybe it's just a team-specific thing for later down the line, but I definitely agree. I mean, taking this Rubik as a response to Lulu, I think was just taking that strong support for Not Me before they could take everything out in that second phase. He's had some exceptional performances on it, and you do have good spells to steal from Willow. She's not the best steal, but she's pretty solid for Rubik.
I have to ask if there's like,
ကဲတော့ separate ကဒီဘက်မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ဘာ ban မို့လဲ
block picking happening with Rubik.
draw ရယ်
Is there anything that Pvision would normally go
Shadow
for?
Fiend
as a
ဟောဒီပွဲဒီနေ့ကျတော့တော်တော်ဆိုရလို့ Dex CI draw ရ Shadow Fiend နဲ့ပြောက်
Underlord, which is really the only counter pick that I can think of for picking Rubik.
Yeah, because it's
တော်တော်နိုင်နေတယ်မှာပါပြီးတော့ double လို့ပြန်လူတယ်ဆိုတော့
why now?
ဒီကွန်းကကျွန်တော်တို့ separate နိုင်သွားတာဒီပွဲကပိုရေးကြီးသွားပြီတပွဲနိုင်တာနဲ့
Heroes, it's
အဲ play off ရောက်ပြီ
it
ဒီနှစ်
makes
သိန်းက
sense as a pick, but I
Yeah,
always
we all wanna see it.
for it being the best pick on that spot.
I think that, like I mentioned, Pvision are kind of targeting this offlane by banning supports. So you ban Hoodwink, you take Willow, and you're essentially
Okay, now
returning
I'm
best to
Oh, so
enabling
there's
heroes
Rubik
or
is
Collapse.
ask
So
it.
they wanted to lock one
Well,
in
look at
before
us.
they
Then
get
that's
into
all
the
in it.
second phase.
This reminds me of the Mao series where Puppey banned 7 carries
Rubik.
against Crystallis,
Yeah.
and he still left his hero to last.
ဟောနည်းနည်းကျွန်တော်တို့ support တော့ကောင်တော့ channel ကျင်လို့လည်းပါမယ် SC ကိုအဆုံးကြီးတော့ပြလိုက်
That's probably what they're like you said. If they don't pick Rubik here, then Pvision has the 2 bans not for the 5, which they banned the Treant Bane, but they could have banned 2 4s, and there's likely not too many good options.
မဝင်းတော့ဝိုင်
Yeah, I
တော့ဝဲ
think
လို့
it's
နော်
for
ကောင်းတယ်
sure
S က
what it is, and
နည်းနည်းစိုးတယ်
so
တဝဲလို့ဝင်းတော့ဝိုင်ပဲအထောက် support နဲ့ကောင်ပြည့်နေဘောက
to heroes like Lone Druid, but I think it's also very
ဟောပြီးတော့ရင်စော့ကျင် necro တွေပါတွေအဲ့လိုမျိုးစော့ကျင်လည်းကောင်းနေတယ်
chip away at you. They want to press battle hunger. They want to make sure you're never at full HP. Winter Wyvern, now that you go level 2 heal, you can counteract a lot of this style of lane.
Okay, I also hats off to Puppey for this one because If I'm a carry and I'm against Bane, I need a Fiend Script cancel. If I'm a carry and I'm against Axe, I need something that prevents me from dying to Blade Mail Call. Like, yes, I can play around it. I can buy SNY, I can buy BKB, I can position myself, but it makes it so the heroes that traditionally would just die to that no matter what, I can pick them in the draft. I can itemize not purely for the Axe. There are 4 other enemy heroes in this game, so the Wyvern Cold Embrace prevents that combo. It's like, I think the laning stage is a big part of it. You have the sustain to go through the battle hunger.
Yeah, Pvision နေနဲ့စင်းတော့စင်းသားနေ
Mid to late.
ဒီလေး cast ကတော့လွတ်နေသေးတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ S နဲ့ဆိုတော့အော်ပြောရင်းဆိုရင်ဒါပေမဲ့ S နဲ့ဆိုတော့အရန်တော့မကောင်း gain တော့မကောင်းပြောရမယ်ဆိုဝင်တော့ဝယ်မယ်လို့ဘာလို့ထောက်ပေးဖို့နိုင်ဖို့တော့လိုတယ်
Not
အကက်စ်ကတော်တော်ကောင်းတာထောက်ထားတဲ့ hero ပဲ S က
worse for Kez without the Wyvern than it is with it.
Yeah, I think this
ကဲ more plane လေးပဲထပ်ဆော့လိုက်မလားကိုကြီးက
easy, not just on lane.
နော်ဒီဘက်က more plane တော့ရှိတော့ရှိတယ်
Talk about, and now this Wyvern is actually looking like the most important hero so far.
ဒီမှာဒီပွဲဆိုလေစတန်အဲ့လိုပါနေသေးရတော့မဟုတ် more plane ဆော့ရ
You have to think to yourself, we gotta jump this guy. Like we gotta pick some Laurel
Storm
Ember, some Puck, something that can just run at this backline non-stop.
I thought they were going to go Storm because I think it's a little bit harder to counter. I think Puck is quite susceptible to maybe like a Viper. This is a sick Viper mid game. I actually think no one's going to whip out the Viper response because 2 ways to deal with Puck are or 3 ways to deal with Puck. One is to have so much sustain and beefiness that Puck never does meaningful damage. Another one is to have insta stuns, and the third one is to just dumpster it in lane. I don't think we'll see the no one sniper. That's
Oh,
another
God.
option for really slaughtering the Puck. I think against these
Yeah,
specific
Puck
heroes,
get Phoenix,
Viper's the
no?
best, but then
Oh.
maybe giving away Viper ult is
more plane တော့ ban တော့ ban ခံမှာပါဒီပေါ်တိုင်းဆိုအဲ့တော့ကောင်းပါတဲ့ပတ်ကအဓိကတော့ win out ဝင်ဟိုကတော့အဲ့လိုပတ်နဲ့ဟို AC ထိန်းလို့ရအောင်ပြီနောက်က Phoenix လည်းရထားတယ် S နဲ့ combo ပါညာ Spirit ကတော့လည်းပုံမိုက်နေတယ်လို့ကန်စားရတယ်
If you don't puck, you're getting pucked on.
ခုနပွဲရတာလောင်းပြဖို့ကယူမကြိုက်လို့ more plane pick ကလည်းလာတယ် Viewers ကယူရေးပါအခုဒီပွဲလည်းမစိုး Phoenix ပတ်
exactly only one meaning to this.
Only one, but
The
this
Bush guy
is,
piano, you know.
it does come out for Team Spirit. It gives them that little layer of coverage, you know, some long range damage to follow up on the call, some team fight control versus the Winter Wyvern.
Yeah, taking their time.
This is a tough pick, I think. Like there's just there's a lot of different approaches you can take here. You can take the lane dominance, you can take the map movement gameplay like the Ember Spirit. Like Ember, the thing about Ember is I think he's
Slaughter.
I didn't love the Ember because I wanted a hero that
ဒီ
wanted
ပတ်
to
ကို
like,
Slaughter
his
နဲ့တော့
team.
မင်းမထိန်
I think on the
နော်တာ lane နဲ့ကတော့တာတော့တာ Slaughter လိုက်ရိုက်တယ်
no matter what hero you are.
ခင်းတို့ပါကကိုတော့ခုန Pvision မန်ဝင်းထည့်လိုက်တာကြည့်ပါ
Follow up from his team.
ခင်းတို့လက်ရှိ sub drop လေးတော့နည်းနည်းပိုကြိုက်
Go for like Slardar, sometimes like
The
Earthshaker
Phoenix.
as a response to this Puck
S
mid.
နဲ့
You think for sure it's mid.
ဒီကအဲ့ဝင်တော့ဝင်ပဲပတ်ကထိန်းမိလိုက်ရင်နော် S က solo နီးပါတော့ဖြုတ်လို့ရတယ် cat ပါ
Slardar generally struggle. Slardar is almost all right click in the laning stage. Like yeah, he has.
sub drop လေးကနည်းနည်းပိုပိုပြီးတော့အဲ့လိုမိုက်နေတဲ့ခံစားပါရီတက်အဲ့တော့ရတရ hero တော့ကြည့်အောင်မယ်ဒါပေမဲ့
Against attack speed slow 5s like Crystal Maiden or Phoenix is not ideal in my opinion.
Agreed. I mean, if I'm Phoenix and I'm playing against Slardar on lane, I'm pretty happy. But if I'm playing against the mid Slardar who's got an early blink and is forcing me to press dive or forcing me to use supernova.
You might even have to supernova.
Yeah, when I
instantly.
don't want to, that's miserable. So
Yeah.
definitely a good fit in the mid lane here.
They banned the Centaur, so it looks like Team Spirit's anticipating the
Arturo
Slardar
Basso.
as well.
On the same page. On the other side, we got the Terrorblade already removed. What would you like to see Yatoro play this time around? He is going to get overall last pick, so he is going to see which offlaner he will have to deal with on lane.
It's kind of an annoying pick for him right now just because of this Winter Wyvern. That's going to be like kind of countering a lot of that physical damage. And you're playing against Kez, against Slardar. You know you're going to get burst.
ဒါလည်းခုမှရေးလိုက်တာတင်တယ်
I'm
ချက်ချင်း
thinking, okay, Wind Ranger seems premier, so they're probably going to ban that. It's a hero we haven't seen too much of, but I'm predicting a Muerta pick.
Ooh, that's a nice pick here.
ဟာပရိသတ်တွေမဟုတ်တော့ဒီတိုင်းဟိုသူတို့ဒီ production ကောင်တွေပဲအဲ့လိုမျိုးနည်းနည်းတည့်မှာဓာတ်ပုံရိုက်လို့ကောင်လောက်ထားရလားမသိဘူးဟာပရိသတ်တွေကဝင်လို့မရတော့သေးဘူး
That's what I actually think that's
Pick
the
that up.
best pick. I don't know. Muerta's fallen off quite hard, but we have started to see teams.
အဲ့တော့တဲ့ကကိုက AC ဒီကောင်မ play off ကနေစောင့်နေတာ OG ကြတော့လေသူက
So I
ဟိုဟာ3-4ပဲတည်ကြတော့ပုံစံက
probably going to pick a ranged guy or girl in the case of Muerta. They have a Willow. Centaur would have been nice. I think any setup stun.
အဲ့တော့ OG က VP ကို2 3တော့ချုပ်ရင် OG ကထွက်ပါထွက်ရမယ်ကွက်တယ်
Underlord
Yeah.
would be okay too.
The ultimate
Actually, they have
Willow
Rubik, never mind.
combo is they still ban out the Ember, just respecting that side as well. But is the Mars? We have seen Mars come out a couple times. I don't think it's been very successful. They
ဂျ
go
ပန်
with
ကို
the
ဒါကတော့ no one hero တွေပြန်လာပြီเนาะခုနတွေက
I mean, this
ဂျပန်ကိုတွေ Ember တွေက Asprit တွေကတော့ no one တော်တော်လေးမိုက်
played offlane, but it does feel like when it comes out, no one just wants to run it on the mid lane. The thing is,
အဲ့တော့ void ဆော့မလားမရှုပ်တယ်တော့ void နဲ့အုပ်ပြီးရတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ Slara နဲ့တင်ရမှာပါမလို့ void တော့မရဘူး
you're playing against a puck. It can
Ah,
get
so
very rough
late.
for you very fast.
I think
Terra Blade လား
becomes an
Terra
option.
Blade လည်းကောင်းတယ်
Muerta is still.
ဟော Terra Blade လည်း ban တော့ ban တော့
Then you have nothing to hit the.
ကဲနားကဆိုင်ရယ်เนาะ Terra Blade မရှိတော့ရှိတဲ့ကောင်လေးနားကဆိုင်ရယ်ကြိုက်တယ်ဟောင်းရင်
That was one of
Phoenix နဲ့ combo လေးเนาะကျွန်တော် hero တွေစောနေကြပုံစံမျိုး SK Phoenix က
showed up. I mean,
နားကဆိုင်ရယ်ကဲပြီး
on paper,
အတူတူ item နဲ့များဝိုင်းတော့ဘာမှလုပ်လို့ရမှာ
the
ပေါ့
hero dynamics are
ဒီကပန်ကိုလုံးနာတွေပါလေချုပ်လို့ရတယ်เนาะ Scepter နဲ့ဆို
play. Like, there's actually not that.
ကဲ separate drop တော့ကြိုက်တယ်ဒီပွဲလဲအဲ့လိုမျိုးရတူတူ late game hero တွေပြန်ပေးရတယ်မ fan နဲ့ကောင် late game ဆိုတော့အဲ့လို more play နေနားကဆိုင်ရယ်နေနဲ့ပုံမှန်ဆိုတော့ဒီ meta မှာအဲ့လိုမျိုး agility carry fan ရတဲ့ကောင်တွေကတိတ်မစော့တော့ဘူးဒါပေမဲ့ မီဘိုချကာကြီးကတော့အရေးကြီးတဲ့ပွဲမှာနှစ်ခေါက်လုံးကျွန်တော်တို့ဒါရတူတူသူ့ရဲ့အဲ့လိုတေချာတဲ့ hero တွေတော့ပြီးတော့ပေးတာဒီပွဲလဲနားကဆိုင်ရယ်နဲ့ကြည့်ရ
A lot of this lane against Willow Slaughter, what Naga does best out of all the carries is she just shoves the lane and leaves. And there's no tower pressure from these heroes on the side.
နားကဆိုင်ရယ်နဲ့ဆိုမင်းကခါစေတိတ်မကြောက်ရတော့
Gets to that point where he can just send two illusions at the wave. He's jungling camps. Rue can just leave him alone.
ဒီ over တွေ duration over တွေတော့မဆက်ချက်တော့ကိုခုနကနှစ်ခုလုံးမှားသွားတယ်အဲ့ဒါတွေကကယ်နေတော့ဆိုင်တယ်ကောင်းတယ်အမေဒီပွဲကတော့ split ကြိုက်တယ်ကွာ drop က
It's quite the good carry matchup against Kez, right? Kez isn't really known for clearing.
ခင်ဗျာကောလိုက်ကကိုလည်းသတိမထားမိလားအဲ့ကောလိုက်က
Single target burst into disengage, which you can't comfortably do against a Naga.
Yeah, Naga also, the build historically, and I think he will go this game, is Manta into Orchid, and that just destroys Kez on the map. Like, the big thing for Kez is there's very few heroes that can represent meaningful kill threat on him from the carry role. And that, especially when you're playing the map, like, yeah, you have like the Ursas and stuff that'll burst him in team fights, but there's very few that will set up the kill on the Kez. And so basically, I'm looking at bottom lane. If Yatoro has the start that Naga can get, they actually nerfed Naga's early game.
အဲ့တော့နားကဆိုင်ရယ်ဆိုတော့နေတယ်အဲ့လိုမျိုးတူတူဘက်ကိုတော့နေတော့နေတယ်ဒီပွဲက
Picked a lot in pubs and had a really high win rate. They nerfed like her base attack speed and stuff like this. So that's the only question mark I have. If he gets to that Manta Orchid Butterfly Heart, I
drop ကအရာဆိုတော့ split ကြိုက်တယ်ဒီ
Let's
ပွဲ
find out if this Naga is going to get unstoppable and if Team Spirits can punch their ticket to the playoffs or if it will be Pvision instead. Before we head into the game, we're heading to our casters, Sunspan and Kezu.
Thank you, Shiver. Yeah, welcome to game number 2. Sunsfan here with Kezu. We've talked a lot about Collapse and his Aegis steals throughout his entire career. Do you have any idea how many that may be?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked because everybody, I've got my brand new. Oh, look at this. So light too. My Lenovo Legion. So you want to Okay, www.when did Collapse steal Aegis last? Says here yesterday his 47th Aegis. It's a record.
7 Aegis
Guys, pretty good.
It's definitely right. Not
Are you
bad.
giving it back to me?
If you want, I mean,
Okay,
you could
thank
cast
you.
the game at some point.
You're the caster. I'm just the analyst. I gave you the stat.
I appreciate the stat as we get into game number 2 between Spirit and Pvision. We have some interesting picks. You let out an audible gasp when Naga Siren was selected.
Did you try to emulate the gasp I let out?
No.
Okay.
I was just saying you
ရတူတူနားက
gasped.
ဆိုင်ရယ်လေးရကြ
This
ည့်
is the thing with Spirit and Yatoro. I am a little bit of a fanboy because this guy, just love watching him play. And I think he has very specific like heroes that come out, you know, specific scenarios calls for specific heroes. And I do think this is quite a good Naga game. Like outside of Pango, none of these heroes really deal with it very well. You also have a lot of good
အဲ့
combinations.
တော့ရမ်းပလက်တွေ
You have-
offer
you can
China
always
တို့တာတော့
protect
SC
the
တို့တာ
or
တို့
set
ကတော့
it up
နည်း
even
သိတယ်
with
လို့
Song
ပြော
of the Siren.
ဟိုက
And also
တကယ်ပြန်ကောင်းတာ SC ကတော့မဆိုးလောက်
Like,
သိလား
later
SC
on,
တခုကတော့
access to
ကော
play
င်း
on pickups, you want to follow up damage. Naga
မသိတယ်
always
ဂိမ်း
gives
ဝင်
that
တော့
for
ဘာ
you.
မှမလုပ်နိုင်ဘူးဟုတ်
Honestly,
ပါ
I think it's a very, very cool.
ဟို
matchup.
hero တွေ
Also,
ကြောင်းလို့
first
တော့ထင်တယ်
round
ဒီပွဲကတော့ Power Vision ကသူတို့
Yeah.
signature တွေ notice လာတာဒါသူထောက်နေကြပဲပန်ကို
Pvision
ဟောပြီး
on the
တော့
other
cast
side.
ဒါတော့
Again, they need
ဟို
to
Power Vision မှာ
be
ကျွန်တော်မြင်နေက
single
hero တွေတော့
game
ပြန်
this one.
ပြတ်သွားပြီဘာလို့ဒီပွဲရှုံးရင် playoff ကတမ်းမရောက်တော့ဘူးဂျားမှာတပွဲထပ်ဆော့
had 2 attempts at it now. Is this going to be enough for them? They have a lot of physical damage going on here. You got the physical damage of no one on the Pangolier, Slaughter, of course, and Kez on top of that. So I'm sure itemization coming out from Spirit will be a lot of armor-heavy things such as assault, and I mean, is this even a blade mail game? A lot of times we don't see Axe even pick that up.
Lotus is very good. I do think it is a good blade mail game.
Lane လေးကောင်းရတယ်ကွာနော် Slaughter ပစ်တာဒီပွဲကပစ်တယ်မစိုးဘူးနော်
blade mail. I
ကောင်း
don't
ပြီလား
necessarily
ဘာ
think
ပြီးတော့တောင်းနှစ်ပွဲလုံးပစ်တာ
Dominator, it's more something you do
အေး
in lanes
carry
where
နေထားတယ်လှ
like you want to split up. So I could say
ငါဒါကိုသိပ်မကြည့်ဘူး
Phase, Stick, Bracer, go blade mail, blink, and just play on that. But yeah, armor is definitely something you need to get against this dire draft. You're playing against Pango and Slaughter and a Kez who will dish out all this physical damage. So, you know, Lotuses, you talked about the AC, whether it's any other items you can get out like Vlads or, you know, on the neutrals, if you get some medallion, all of this is definitely what you want.
Yep. Ducalis playing the Winter Wyvern. We're used to seeing that coupled with a Drow type hero, but it's going to be the Kez instead. You think there's any different interactions between the two as we get into the later stages of the game?
Honestly, it's just very, very strong. And to go back to the blade mail part, like Winter Wyvern makes blade mail a lot worse of an item because obviously if you jump the Kez, like later, if Ducalis just drops the cold and pray, like the cold and pray, we'll see what he's going to do. This Collapse is going to take the wave and farm the wolves.
Last game we saw Collapse on this hero. Something to behold.
Oh yeah, I mean he just destroyed the entire game, and that was against a last pick Necrophos. Like that is not normal. And look what he's doing right now. Because he's farming the side camp, he can actually steal the water rune, and you can tell that you just throw the tip up because who does that? No one does that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, not literally him.
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
Okay. Yeah. As he all chats Mimo Hodon.
Yeah, that's definitely English.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's usually that comes out when the cat's on your keyboard.
I think that might mean suck it.
Oh,
အဲ့တော့အော်ဒီမိုင်းကတော့အဲ့လိုမျိုးနည်းနည်းလေးကတ်ကတ်တင်းရတာဆိုတော့ကတ်တော့ကတ်နေတာမှန်ပဲ။ Okay, anti ban အနေနဲ့ collapse ဟိုပြေးလိုက်ဒီပြေးလိုက်ပဲရောက်ရင် Satanic Gas ကတော့ lane တွေမှာတကယ်ဟဲတာ
This time around, how good are his steals?
They're pretty good. Oh, like, let's see. They are decent. I think you're definitely looking more
Okay,
for the
collapse.
Collapsers.
I didn't think he was in trouble here, but
Apple
Satanic
Clash
getting him onto very low HP. He's going to get cold embrace now. Back to respectable amount of HP, but the battle hunger and the right clicks kind of nullify a lot of that heal.
Well, it's still quite good for
ဘာလို့ကဖေးရလိုက်တာတွေးကြည့်တော့မရှိပါဘူးတာဟာ
Oh, he
ဟိုလည်းကြည့်ရအောင်မပြန်ရင်တော့ပြင်းနေတဲ့ကွာကြီးရာကြီး
Meanwhile, a couple more kills happen in the bot side of the map. Just supports biting the
ဟို
dust.
အိမ်ပြန်လည်းမထူးတော့ဘူးSatanic ကို first blood ကျွေးလိုက်ရတဲ့ကွာကြီး
It's definitely the type of lane where Yatoro is happy the longer this lane goes, but Slaughter Willow can definitely pressure early on, and they can win. Like, you can max out the stun, which is kind of what you want to do on the Slaughter anyway. I think Willow is quite good at trading. Obviously, Phoenix is a pretty strong +5, but there's some downtime you can play around when there's no illusions, when there's no fire spirits, you'll be quite happy. But
they were laning in here, piano. Oh, yeah,
we've talked about it a few times.
ဟို lane နေpiano လောက်တော့လောက်
Getting gone
ကဲ
on.
နော်
It's
မီ
not like very aggressive for Pvision.
အချောပြန်ပြီ
Looks
အောင်
like he's just going to die. It will be to Satanic's right click. A much better start, let's say, than last time around. Satanic, did he? How many did he end with? It was 7 last
ဟော
count.
ပိုင်းတော့ S ကတာပြီမယ်နော် lane နေကြတော့အေး
He
Test
did lose
it,
like
yeah.
more than half his treads on the courier that collapsed.
Hey, well, I'm sorry.
So that doesn't matter.
ချောင်းနာများတာဒီ
See
ကောင်
what
လေး
Nami is going to be able to cook up on the Rubik. You talked about the spell steals. It's definitely more so the Terrorize, the Winter's Curse, Cold Embrace, I think as well, especially against these heroes like the triple
ဒီ
physical.
ပွဲကမထင်တော့ပဲလောင်းမလေးကတော့တာနေလို့
Rubik to
ကွာ
me has looked quite
Separate
atrocious in
guard,
this tournament.
silent
He's not
lane
as
or
good
lane
as
lane.
other fours, so you got to have the correct steals and you need to play very well.
And what kind of build can we come to expect from Yatoro?
It's still very, very similar. Like when you play Naga, you have to go Manta style.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people that go for the Orchid after. And I think it's just when you think of itemization or in general or how the mid game is played. So Naga opens up the map. With Manta, you do it even more. Then people need to split. Then you get the Orchid for your own mana region, but also to actually pressure on the map, which is very, very good. And I think after that, you can look for some different itemizations. I think Butterflies is always very good. Same with Hard, Scotty. Later on, you want a Bloodthorn to just
ကဲ
completely...
ကော်လေဂျီကဒီမှာ step တွေပါပြန်လုပ်ပြီဟမ်ကိုယ့်ကိုအစင်ပြောင်းတော့နေနေနေရပဲကိုမခရီးတွေပေါ်လိုက်
Is back into the
ကိုယ်စ
jungle.
တက်လိုက်နေ
Will be a
သူများကြံခဲ့တယ်မှာသွေးစိုးနေ
blade mail. Love to see it. Nice collapse now, found by Ducalis.
ဟုတ်တယ်ပြန်မမေးတာရအောင်
Also,
collapse
one taking a lot of damage. I mean, mud golems are
ဟုတ်
excellent.
တယ်ရ
for
အောင်
this. He's
ရင်
going to get a
သူ့လောက်
courier
ကွ
as
နဲ့သူ
well.
ကတော့ရှိတော့
He's
ရှိ
able to walk away, although TP.
Roots.
Scramble does hit.
အဝဲ
The
လို့
shadow run to
ကြာလာ
follow
ပြီ
as 9
နော်
class
9
able
glass
to bring collapse down for the
ဒါ
second
မှလည်းတန်
time.
မာနဲ့ကာရီယာရတယ်ကျွန်တော် TP တကောင်ရတယ်နော်တေဝါရဲဆိုပေမဲ့ collapse အဲ့လိုမျိုးလိမ့်မနေလို့များမဲ့တူအကုန်လုံးတစ်ဖက်ကိုသိရမလား club show နေရှောက်လို့
Did get his
Our
core, so
vision
he's
bako.
got the treads unlocked, he's got the urn as well. This is what we saw Pure do as well. The
အဲ့
other
လို
day.
နိုင်ပဲကိုကတော့ drop ကတော့
Great
separate
early
နည်းနည်း
stats.
ပို
You
ကြိုက်
nearly always go for plays with this hero as well.
And the 9 class back towards the mid side. As the 6-minute power rune about to spawn, Ducalis. He gone on by collapse now. You
Douglas.
can see the swashbuckling.
တေတယ်ကောင်းပါပြီဒီဘက်မှာကျွန်တော် no one အာမူရော pressure ပေးလိုက်ရဆိုပေမဲ့နောက်က fire spirit အောက်မှာပဲလောင်းကဲဒီနဲ့တော့ hero သွားတယ်စစ်တန်းနဲ့ပြီးတော့ဆင်းလာခဲ့ပြီးတော့နောက်မှာတောက်ချက် rule တော့ကျွန်တော် physical damage လိမ့်မပေးတာပြီးရှေ့မှာနောက်မီဒုကလစ်ကိုတက်ရလိုက်လို့စစ်တန်းနဲ့မရှုံးအောင်မလားကဲဒီနဲ့ပြန်ပတ်မှရမယ်ဟိုဘက်က amplify damage နဲ့ surrender နောက်မှာလောင်း
Puts collapse back onto the high ground, and that's going to be
ဘက်က no one ရဲ့ pan rolling ကိုလေဒါ respect ပေးပြီးတော့ butt up လိုက်တာကဲအောက်မှာလည်း Yatoro သွားပြီရောက်ရင် Yatoro ရှော့ပြီတဲ့
Fairy fire available.
Oh boy.
Solo kill it up here.
He does miss an attack. Fairy fire.
Solo
Lotus is
kill
not
it up
gonna spawn on the
here.
Yatoro.
No,
He
JM
desperately
up
needed
behind
it.
it, two of them do.
Lotus gets a solo
Kill, yeah.
kill onto the position 1.
That's a big one. I also think that's the type of play they needed because earlier you saw collapse. You know he's respawning. He just TPs to the mid lane. This is why it's important that you look around, like what is actually happening. You don't need to brain that TP into the top lane just.
Okay,
because
Western
you're
lane
off
naroon
lane.
bayar.
Looks
Barrier
around,
Ali
but
PV
in the
ba.
meantime, Pvision double wisdom shrine by the looks of
Ali
it.
တော့
Now, this
PV
is much better start.
တက်တယ်ပါ
to
ပေး
their
မစား
game as Collapse still only level 4. He's going to take a full Raptor dance from Satanic under the tier 2. He will dodge one of the Echo Slashes and the Blood Grenade, it seems. To call us a little bit merciful
ကိုလာ
with
တဲ
him,
တန်
but
ဖြစ်ရ
here
ကြတယ်
comes
ရောက်
Nine
တီတူ
Class
နာ
out of
ရောမှာ
nowhere.
တိုင်ပတ်
Doesn't do that much damage at this stage of the game, so Collapse does survive. But again, these Wisdom Shrines, this is starting to stack up.
အေးနော်
Start
ဒီ
of
ဘ
a
က်မှာ
bad lane
ဟို
for
က
Collapse.
ညီလေးက level 6
Then
တဲ့
again,
ကွာ level လေး
every
ပြတ်
time
တော့
we
ပြတ်
say that, he somehow finds a way
ဟုတ်
back
ပါ
in
နေ
the
ကောင်မ
game.
ဆိုးစရောဟုတ်လားဒီ
But it's still a
ဗာ
very
လေ
nice move from them. You get to
Play
invade
over
with
10 ရောက်တယ်
Wisdom
ဒီပွဲမှာ
Shrine, you steal half of a stack, you make him go low HP, and Collapse definitely suffering when it comes to the level department. Not even level 5 yet, where Satanic is starting to push on to level 7, being already level 6.5.
Haven't talked about Rue. I mean, Phoenix, haven't seen Phoenix that much
Yep.
this tournament.
It's very good against the 2 supports, and also against the Slardar.
ကဲဒုကလေးဟုတ်တယ်ဒီဘက်မှာလောင်းတော့ train point မှာထွက်တော့ပေးတာပြီလောင်းပြနေတာကွာ
As the aim and a rune spawning, not
Okay,
me.
our 9 glass.
Looks to be the
Oh, didn't
sacrifice
piano.
coming out
Yeah.
from Team Spirit, but the illusory orb is enough to outclass 9 class. And Laurel gets that haste rune, so now he can play around with Satanic a bit. We'll get back to lane.
Lars is getting all the active runes. First the Amplify, now the
စ
Haste.
ပရကရောက်ရေးသူတို့ကြကြလိမ့်တလိမ့်နေပြီလောင်းကပြန်တန်းနေတာ
6 and 8 here with still continued pressure onto no one. This is half a tower down at minute 8. Like this matters. Like these
တွေ့ရခဲ့တယ်ဒါမျိုးကတွေ့ရခဲ့တယ်
tower can definitely swing some of these matchups because
ဒါပေမဲ့ lineage thank you ပါ bro
mid on a full HP
အဲ့တော့
tower.
နော်
but
တကူကတော့ Esports Walker တဲ့ TI နေနေဆို
a
တော့
couple
ပွဲတွေ
heroes
ကတော့
who win a
share ပဲ
fight, this half HP tower might just be gone.
Every time we pan over to Collapse, he's either getting pressured out or in the jungle.
Yep.
A rough start for him. Bottom
ဟိုတော့ဒီလောက်လေးလုပ်ပေးလာတာပဲ
but
ကျေးဇူးအများကြီးတင်ပါတယ်ပွဲတွေကြည့်ရတာသိရမလားငါပွဲတွေကြည့်ရ
you
တာ
can see no one is
နည်း
pretty
နည်း
far
ပို့
down
ပြီးအ
there
တိတ်ပဲ
as
ရှိ
well.
သွားတယ်နိုင်လောက်တယ်ဆိုတဲ့ feeling နဲ့ကြည့်ရ
Some of
ပွဲ
these
တိုင်းဟုတ်လား
right? Like the first time Collapse goes there, seal to water rune, then
Ito
he
kuha
doesn't
naman.
get the active rune on
feeling
6, he
feeling
doesn't
ကွာ
get the
ဟာ
active
ရတော့
rune
ငါ
on
ပွဲ
8.
တွေချင်းဟာဒီတော့ရှုံးမှာပဲ
Very
ဆို
much
တဲ့
liking how
feeling
Satanic is moving here in this early game. He's been mid a couple of times. He's invaded the Wisdom Shrine. Now he's going into the off lane. And this is very good and needed pressure into Yatoro's Naga here.
So now some pressure to this tier 1 bot. Satanic and the rest of Pvision should be able to clean this up relatively easily. As Kez will be going for the Mage Slayer, so I assume Pango will not. It'll be the Diffusal first.
Yeah, definitely just Diffusal, allow Pango to play around other things later. As they see Notme, who's very deep here.
Yes, he is. In the corner now. Swashbuckle mostly misses there, it looks like.
Yeah, rolling on,
TP,
yeah.
but the Rolling Thunder will cancel that immediately. So eventually they will kill him off.
ဒီပွဲလေးတော့ကြည့်ကောင်းပါ
Just
ကွာ
to
နော်
make sure that you don't bounce him onto like the low or high ground
Well, yeah,
towards the side
yeah.
there. 10-minute rune. Let's see if Lara can go 3 for 3 on this one.
Trying for it. Does not get it here. Pressure
Oh,
up by
yeah.
Ducalis
Man,
now with that Arctic burn and
Okay,
the
let's
blood
see Arctic,
grenade
yeah.
really doing his job.
ဝမ်းကြီးဘလို့ပြစ်လိုက်တာဒီကောင်အန်ရများလိုက်တာ
Actually, losing into the tree line. Satanic
no
though with the
way.
Raven's Veil.
အော်
getting it
လောင်း
Pvision
ရဲ့
and
ဒီဘက်ကို
Pvision
ပြင်အ
kill.
လွတ်ကြီးကိုဟမ်
What a bait from Pvision. Very nicely played.
Yeah, I was initially wondering like what's Tukalis up to, but he's just
Okay,
slowing him
alors,
down.
c'est
kind of
dernier
limiting
call,
him to
mais
linger a
il
little
est
bit
plus
longer.
yeah.
Then Laurel, of course, getting himself stuck.
ဒီလေးကိုဘလို့ထိန်းကြမလဲဟေး
Anyway,
ပွဲရတော့နော်ဒါကဆိုင်ရအချိန်ရောက်ပါမလားတော့
to
စဉ်း
connect
စား
on
ကြရ
there.
တော့ရှိတယ်ဗောညီလေးကတားကြီးဖန်တယ်ပေါ့
Noticed on the Slardar, second in net worth, which for a Slardar, I feel like the early game can be a struggle at times because he's not exactly a great farmer.
No, it absolutely can, but against this lane, like Phoenix Naga, not the strongest lane, doesn't have the most pressure, doesn't really have like very high kill capabilities. It's more the type of lane where you want levels, you want.
ဟုတ်တယ်အရင်ကမှမိနစ်20နောက်ပိုင်းဆိုတော့ဘာလို့လဲမသိတော့
Just
ဆို
pay
တော့
attention to where Laurel is on the map. You're not really dying. Like a Rubik isn't really gonna gank you. Nor is
ဘာရ
an Axe who's being
like
shut
ရှိ
down.
ရှိပါတယ်တပိုင်း
It's
ဟီ
all about Laurel's
ဒီ
early
မှာ
game
စတိုင်ပါလေ
versus
ဒီကောင်
Coil
ပေါ
here,
င်း
so
ပါ
I expect
ပြင်
Notice
နခရိုးလေး
to
ဒီ
have
ကောင်
a
ဆော့
very
ပေး
good
လို့
time.
ရ
Yeah, notice only about 400 away from the blink
Santon
dagger.
or
Expect
Divine
the
Hero.
aggression to come. It's going to align pretty nicely with the
ကဲ
defense.
မေးစလီရပါရတော့မယ်
Pango
တန်းနေက
and Satanic. I mean, I'm not sure if he's even wanting to participate in fights, but Kez is definitely a hero that can do that, and he's going to have Mage Slayer as well.
Oh, you definitely can. I think you're like the type of hero you generally win your lane, which also means you can constantly push your lane, which makes it easier to look to other sides, maybe TP to the mid tier 1, go to most of these active runes. I do also wonder if he wants to go for a specific or different item build later. Like maybe if it turns into an incredible Naga game, maybe there's some Battle Fury or Mjolnir route later on, or maybe you just commit to the Deso, you know, with your Slardar, with your Pango, play on like speeding up the game, taking faster rolls, just taking faster towers.
Are we seeing Battle Fury ever? Is that
No,
actually a thing?
not really, but perhaps, you know, maybe there's this type of hero, you know, Naga is a hero that drastically changes the game.
That's true.
So you might have to think
တန်းနေ
about
တကယ်
finding
သွေး
ways to
ဆုံးနေပြီဟာ
Things
ညီ
up
လေး
onto Laurel, collapse.
ရှယ်ရိုက်အိုးဝင်းနကာစလာကြပဲဆိုလိုပါဖြတ်ပြီးတော့အေးပေးလိုက်တဲ့နောက်မလား
As Ducalis
ရှေားသွား
claims
တယ်
the
နော်
kill,
စိတ်တန်းကပန်းတော့မပြောလိုက်ရရင်မေးစလီရရအောင်
Stuck
ဆို
in no man's land, pops the blade
Show
mail.
like-
As the cold
Ah,
embrace
no, no, no,
comes
Satanic
out,
account is
Ducalis,
wale.
Satanic looking to finish it though with the Echo Slash, gets a nice call from Collapse, but he's not going to have any backup.
စိတ်တန်းတဲ့ကောင်နဲ့ရွာလဲနေပြီဟဲ့
As no one finds
I'll
a
show like
juicy
that.
stack here.
You can see it in both these games. Like when either team has a small edge or they know like what they get away with, they just fully execute. Satanic being one of the best Kezes, I am very impressed with his early game here.
Look at that keyboard. It's got some nice keycaps.
ကတ်ကတော့
there.
ဘန်းလိုက်တာကောင်းပါတယ်ခုနဂိမ်း1တော့သူတို့ထိန်းလို့ရတယ်ဘာညာဆိုပေမဲ့များသောအားဖြင့်ညီလေးကတ်ကို
And
ပေး
that's
လို့မ
a
ရ
dead
ဘူး
Rubik, level 4.
Looks
Someone
like it.
look,
Notice
okay.
level 10 versus the 4, yeah. One is greater than the other. So showing off that blink dagger now.
They are TPing top. In 1 minute, you've got a Wisdom Shrine available. Looks like Notice did cancel it after all.
There's that pudge again. What is it?
Yeah, there's a...
Axe.
That's Grogu.
That's, yeah. That's random. That might be copyrighted there. It's all good.
Yeah, we'll keep showing it. It looks fancy. I like it.
Not sure what the orange one is.
I don't know, actually.
What is that?
We'll get a full screen on that later, of course.
Yep, of course. Let's get a nice zoomed in picture at some point. No one on the tier 1 mid. There are some TPs coming in from Spirit, but
ကဲမင်းကို join ပါပဲညီလေးအဲ့တော့ညီလေးတဲ့ကောင်နဲ့သူတို့ရွာလဲနေပြီ
You've got the shield rune as well, and if you're Pvision, you
ဟော
know
မင်းဖတယ်ရတယ်ချလို့မရဘူးနားဆိုင်ရင်းတားဖမ်းရမယ့်ချိန်မှာကတ်ကစိတ်တာလို့မိုက်တာလို့ဖြစ်
There's a
ချိန်
Naga on
နေ
the enemy side, there's an Axe on the enemy side. These guys, they all
စ
need
ပရင့်နဲ့ဟာတရားနေတယ်တင်တယ်ကောင်တွေကအခုချိန်ဒီပါရီပြန်ငားထားတော့မှရှိသေးတယ်
Like Manta for Naga, it doesn't change the way the game is played. It's only going to be Collapse's Blink and then maybe later the Orchid. So for Pvision,
good lord, I looked at Collapse. The blink is so far away.
yeah, shouldn't have looked.
ဟိုတရားအေးတဲ့နာ
100 away from that.
AVP
So
you.
that's going to put them on the
မင်းနကာဟုတ်သေးတယ်ကျွန်တော်ဒူးကလေးအရင်တော့ပြတ်တော့ပြတ်သွားပြီးတော့မဆိုင်လန်ဒီလေတကောင်နဲ့တွေးတော့စိုးနေတော့မယ်ဆိုပေမဲ့နောက်မှာ4 versus 1နေမှာပြတ်သွားခဲ့တဲ့နောက်မှာတော့
might have bitten up a little
အရင်
bit.
မြတ်လောသွားပြီလား no one အော်ကောင်းတယ်ဟောင်းလေးလောင်းနဲ့ဆိုင်လန်အလားလေးနောက်မှာ basket 2 man နဲ့ကိုလပ် program လမ်းသားတွေတော့ Phoenix ပဲ Nova တွေအောက်မှာတော့ကောင်းတော့ပြန်လှုပ်ပေးလိုက်ပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော် Sandry တွေရောဓာတူကေးလေးမှာတစ်ဖြတ်တော့ပြေးယူသွားရောအော် no way မှတ်သွားပြီဟောမျိုးလုံးနဲ့ပုတ်ကုန်
I don't
အာ
know
အတိုင်းပွဲဟိုဒီဘက်မှာ
It's
နော်
not
ကျွန်
just
တော်
that
တို့
they give a 3
ဒီနေ့လူရတဲ့ပိုပြီး confident မြင်သွားတာဒီကောင်ဝင်တော့ဘိုက်ပဲတေးနေတော့ပြီးကိနေသူကတချော
They got their own one up top. Rube was level 4 when we watched him a minute ago. He's level 7 now.
Yep.
He actually has a Dota game to be played now.
Crazy. All right, let's look back at Collapses. He's on.
နော်ဝင်တော့ဘိုက်ပဲလေးနဲ့ပဲရက်လိုက်ရင်တော့မစိုး
Yeah, it felt like they overstayed their welcome, and then this is the domino effect, right? One person coming to help another, and then no one coming in to help Satanic. And everybody ends up paying the price.
Yeah, sick egg on top. You get the call. You get a dunk from Collapse as well. First
ကောင်း
one
ပြီ
of the
တ
game
ကောင်
for
ဖြစ်
him.
သွားတာ
Yeah, it needs a little bit more of that, as no one is not happy with the turn of events. I mean, they were in a pretty good position to kind of snowball this slowly in their favor.
တက်နေတာ နော်မီ
Ravens Veil stolen by
ကဲ
Nami.
တော့လည်းရှာလို့မရတော့အဲ့တော့နောက်ဘက်ကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ last down 1 key တော့ပြန်ပြသွားပြီเนาะခုနဘက်တည်းရတော်တော်သိတာ
Time to buy dust.
နောက် 3k လောက်က
You do have
ကိုရ
a
ပြန်မြောက်
shot coming out pretty shortly. Actually, already is online for notice.
That's quite nice, of course. You know, helping out. You start making sure you apply the corrosive to everybody. It's also nice against illusion heroes because it just means you can start with the blink crush. They're gonna have to manta. Then when they walk away, you can still apply the actual corrosive phase on the real one. So I've always been a big fan of this shard. It's also quite good for like his overall draft, right? You're playing with the Kez. You're
ဟော
playing with
စ
the
မုတ်
Pango.
လိုက်တာကွက်တီ notice ကနောက်ရောက်ကဲအဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်ရထရိုနေနေကလည်းဒါမန်တာလောက်ပဲတော့ရှိအောင်ပါသူမန်တာပြီးတော့ဒီဘက် orchid လည်းကောင်းတာပဲမန်တာ orchid လောက်
For the loaded
ရရင်တော့တစ်ဖြက်နည်းနည်းဆိုင်ပေးလို့ရ
I do like it for now.
Test တွေပါတွေကလည်းအဲ့လို
Also,
orchid ကြောက်ကတွေထဲမှာတော့
like,
ပါ
first of
နော်
all,
orchid မိ
Naga's
သွား
on
တယ်
it, right? The way Naga
Test လည်းဘာမှ
kills
လုပ်လို့ရ
heroes
မှာ
later, end snare, orchid. At least one of the two, sometimes both. So Lotus overall is quite good. Maybe if some of the supports can buy it, then you can skip yours. Could also be the type of game, you know, he's looking for. A BKB and Aghanim Scepter later is quite good. Bonus armor, bonus status resistance, always very nice against these
အဲ့မန်
heroes.
တာကလည်းဒီဘက်စေတန်းနဲ့မန်တာသွားလိုက်
Looks like Satanic for now. He will just go for a dispel of his own, honestly.
Yeah, so
Dex
it doesn't
zone
look
mode
like he's
though, man, that-
itemizing for the Naga, at least not yet. And maybe that's the play until she's a problem.
Yeah, I honestly think that it's
But
quite
like
good this
late
way.
game, you're not going to get Battle Fear, so it would have to be Mjolnir, I assume, because Radiance doesn't have the. I mean, not that you would ever go Radiance.
Oh yeah, the Radiance
It doesn't work
is
against
garbage.
illusions the same way it used to.
Yeah, it's quite weak. So they're just more playing around the fact that you just kill the rest, and you can kind of ignore Naga, I think, for a long time. It's more about, can you survive her map play? And I think that's where the Manta comes in, that's where the Lotus Orb will come in later, so definitely don't mind this type of idea from Pvision here.
All right, Collapse, Blink Dagger online. He is a hero all of a sudden. 1 and 3 start for him.
ဟာဘယ်လို Rubik က Rubik ကဘယ်နာရောက်
Not me. Will be picked off quite easily from Pvision. And again, they're really invading this triangle over and over and over.
They are, but I'm looking. I do
But
feel
Shannon
at the
Lulu are
moment
not
that they are
allowed
lagging.
to go.
Of course, they're ahead, like 1k gold, right? Also,
ဘယ်တော့မလွယ်
see
သေးဘူး
Aghanim
စစ်တမ်း
coming
က
out
တက်
of
ဆုံနေ
AT.
မဟုတ်ဘူး
I wonder how they will look to speed up the game. Like
ကဲ
there
ပွဲ
is
ရ EO
definitely
EO လေးပြန်ပြောင်းသွားရင်တော့
a
separate ချိန်မှာတော့ late game ကတော့
Once
separate
they
ပုံ
don't
မိုက်
have
တယ်
that,
late game
like,
ကျုံးဖို့
tower-taking
အေးအမ
capabilities,
okay ရရမရ
you
သူ
could
တို့
look
က
to pressure out Spirit.
ကဲဒီဘက်မလော
Incredibly good
င်း
at this
အေး
situation.
မိပြီအောင်မ terrorize အိုး fish it တိုင်မီလေးမမြောက်နောက်မတောက်လျှောက်ရိုင်းနေသူပဲနော်
Not enough to get away. Big kill
ဟာရ
for
ပြောက်သွား
Pvision.
ပြီ
No, they still got him. That's very nicely done. Even if a slight maybe misplay of the stun staggering there. Because you need to stop Spirit from being rats on these side lanes. You know that what they need is time.
ကဲရတူ
Yeah,
all
Toro
the game
does
တော့
get
ပါ
the
လာ
work.
ပြီ
I mean, when does this hero start becoming fearsome? As we're going to see Ducalis get, well, not quite chopped.
A little bit unlucky. You would love to have the chop stack in this game. This bonus armor is ridiculous
Yeah, that's true.
against the dire draft.
Is it third item for Naga when you start worrying?
Orchid is like the first time that you need to actually pay attention where she is. I mean, I guess
Rishi
Naga's game
and
has really
Toro
changed.
ခောက်သွား
You
ပြီဒီပွဲက
continuously play on map state, and when people
ပုံစံ
split,
ဒီရီချ
that's when
over
you
ဖို့က
need to
တော်
be really
ချိန်နေ
aggressive.
ကောင်းသွားဒီပွဲ
Team
က
fighting is never really that much up to you. So I think until he has like hard, maybe butterfly, I don't think we'll see him all that much.
And the Orchid already, they're optimizing for this. I mean, Kez eventually is going to get, he has the Manta. Slarart will be getting BKB. Pango, that's the interesting one. Do you upgrade your Diffusal a little bit earlier to get that Dispel, or do you itemize for something else like, I mean, we used to see Lotus back in the day, not nearly as much now.
Yeah, I think you still can. Any type of dispel is good. Personally, I wouldn't really mind a BKB either, just because you're also playing against like the puck. So I have to see what he goes for later. But I do think it's something that you don't need until like 4th item, maybe. It seems for now he's queuing up the Aghanims, and honestly, I don't blame him. I think he needs to deal with Naga aggressively, not defensively.
Right. I forget who we were casting, but the other day,
Yeah,
I was
Yatoro.
gonna see
Oh,
Yatoro getting
Nene,
gone on,
yeah.
will be able to sing his song and TP out. Would have been a huge kill.
ကဲရတဲ့ကောင်ယူရ
Pvision.
မှာပဲကျန်နေခဲ့
Might have to
Phoenix တော့ရ
settle for Rue instead. Corrosive Haze will give all the vision they need. Pops the egg, but they should be.
Yeah, actually, oh, basket 3 man. ဒါပေမဲ့ချိုးလို့ရသေးတယ်နောက်မှာနားဆိုင်မှာမရဘူးရောကိုလက်မတန်းရှိုးသွားတယ်ကွာတဲ့ကောင်ချင်းစီဆင်းသွားတယ်ဆိုရင်နောက်မှာနော်မီလဲကွဲပဲနော်ဒီကောင်မီဒီကောင်အော်စစ်တန်းကတော့ဆိုင်တာတင်နေဟိုဘတ်ကော
Who wasn't in the call other than the winter?
Basket မပေါအောင်ဒီကောင်
I thought it was only Ducalis who could hit the egg. I guess maybe Satanic got a dodge off with either like a quick Raptor sense or a Mantis style. Because it honestly, I don't blame.
Oh, timing မပြောရတာတကယ်ကြီးရွေချက်ရှိတော့ကြာလာတော့မသိဘူး
You know, into the follow-up stun.
ညီလေးကတော့တော့ကြီးဖြစ်သွားစစ်နေတယ်
We see Collapse coming on the left.
ဟောမန်တာနဲ့ကောင်းလာလား what the fuck
And he did not know he was there, so that is just.
ညကောင်းကြပဲငါလည်းကွာ
Satanic. I think that egg would pop.
ဒီကြောင်းမှာလည်းတော်မလွယ်ဘူးနော်
Like 4 hits on that egg during that time.
Yeah, that was super close.
Nice, Satanic in the zone.
Yeah, just needed a warm-up game.
Versafy ရအောင်ရတာ
True. Instead of having 7 deaths, he has 7 kills.
That's right.
He's flip-flopped that one.
Somebody told him you should be getting more kills than deaths, and he's like, oh yeah, forgot about that, my bad.
Yeah, that's definitely what Puppy said in between the game. Have you tried killing them?
Very toxic. Tier 2 tower will be going for Pvision. And Butterfly looks to be on the menu for Satanic, so against the Naga Siren, I mean, the Bloodthorn, I assume, will come out at some point, though.
Definitely, and that's also where it's going to be important that the supports also look at a type of dispel. You have the 9 class who's queuing up a Yules. I do think you want multiple Lotuses later if you can. Like, that is how you destroy Naga. Naga never really wants to commit. It's always about the Ensnare, the Bloodthorn, the type of, you know, kiting and poking you. So they do get the shard on Ducalis.
Laurel.
ရလောင်း
Laurel.
ခင်ရရအောင်ဒီကောင်လေးလား
3 with the coil to follow.
ကဲ drain ကွန်ကြီး
Out.
ဟောပြေးတော့
He's being pursued, though. They actually get the corrosive haze, so they have the vision now.
အဲ့ reaction ကြီးကတော့တောင်းတင်းမလွယ်ဘူးဘာလို့လဲတကယ်ဖြစ်နေတဲ့အချိန်နော်မန်တာနဲ့က
Puck doing Puck things.
Will be a
Someone
Pharasma
GN,
into an Octarine, so going for big ticket items on Laurel.
ချိန်မှာလောက်ပြခဲ့တဲ့ကောင်တွေကမရှိဘူးမဟုတ်ရှိဒါပေမဲ့တော်တော်ရှားရတယ်မန်တာနဲ့
I mean, I guess that's a good and cool thing about Team Spirit, right? You can count on kind of all of them when needed to have one of those pop-off performances.
Collapse. Almost having a game
ဒီ
changing.
ပွဲလေးတော့တကယ်ကြည့်ကောင်းတယ်ဒီဘက်ကိုပြောလို့ separate ကလေကင်းအားသာချက်လေးနည်းနည်းရှိနေတဲ့ချိန်ပါရီကအားလေးလေးနည်းနည်းတာနေတာနဲ့ဆိုတော့ပွဲကမျှနေတော့မယ်
It is quite difficult.
Wow, he's
Them.
quality ကတော့ဒစ်လေတယ်ဗျာဒီပွဲကဟိုကအထောက်စဖို့နှစ်ကောင်နဲ့ဒီမှာလိန်ကလည်းဖေးထားတာဆိုတော့နော် quality ကတော့လက်ရှိနေ Rotten Tag ကနှစ်ကောင်လက်ရှိနေတယ်ဒီကောင်
To a fight, and if you don't set their
ဒီအဲ့လို feeling ကိုပဲကာပေးရုံလောက်ပဲနော် quality ကတော့လုံးလို့ရမယ့်အနေ
Force
ထား
aren't going to be killing you until there's like a nullifier later. Only the Bedlam is kind of a problem. Okay, will this be a free Roche?
Collapse, where are you? It's Roche time.
They do see him on a ward farming in the jungle, so I think for now they can.
They seem safe.
Heart rate at the steady.
Collapse. Oh wait.
Oh wait. Your heart rate up. Heart rate going up. Just kidding. We got it for free.
Yeah, they'll get there in time. And it's Pure or
Yeah,
Satanic
Yeah,
rather.
Pure is here.
Satanic dot Pure.
Now, of course,
We'll get the Aegis.
he gave you a freebie out there.
ကဲဒီဘက်မှာပတ်
Actually canceling
အော်
the TP
ကျွမ်းနေတာ
tries to
နောက်မှာကျွန်တော်တို့
follow
9 glass ရပါပြီ
Absolutely destroyed. They have been on top.
ကဲနာဂဆိုင်ရိုင်းပတ်ဖန်နေတာဘာညာနေတော့နောက်တော့ 2k 3k ပဲဆိုပေမဲ့နော် separate က
I do
ကျွန်
think
တော်ပရက်ဆိုင်ကတော့တော်တော်ခက်တော့ခက်လာတယ်အဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်မကြခင်နာဂဆိုင်ရိုင်းဟိုက်ရရင်တော့
you have a gem
အ
that's
တူတူဘာလုပ်ပေးနိုင်မယ်ကြည့်ရမယ် no one အေးအဲ့တော့ okay မိပြီ
Into the
ဟောရဝင်းတော့ဘာပဲပြေတော့လာတော့လာနေပြီဆိုရင်တော့မရတူလို့ဝင်းတဲ့ကားအိုးဝင်းတဲ့ကပြတ်ထိုးပြီးတော့အလားလေးနော်မီအခုဖီးနေဆယ်ရီကြာမကဲကိုချိုးသားပြီးတော့ဘာကာကျွန်တော်ကလည်းဆိုပေမဲ့လို့ချင်းမရတူလို့နောက်ဆုံးနေတော့အလားဆုံးအချင်းတန်စင်နေတော့3ခွင့်ရပြီပဲဖီးနေဟုတ်တယ်စပလိုဝါလေးရသေးတယ်ဟဲ့ဟေးအကုန်လွတ်သွားပြီလား
another TP out as
အာ
Rue looking to
နော်
find
ကျွန်
a
တော်
killer.
ရူးပဲပြန်ရလိုက်တယ်ကောင်းချက်ပဲစပစ်ဆိုင်သွားတာလေ
He nearly got him because he has the crippling crossbow and like all
အ
the
ကုန်ချောပြီထင်တာဟောတော့ဝင်းတစ်ခါကဲတယ်နော်ပြီးတော့ဘာကာရီရောပြီးနေဥလီရောအတရီလွတ်သွားတယ်
I
နော်
don't care that he doesn't die. The fact is that he lives and keeps the curse for the next fight.
Yeah. Yep, not too shabby.
အော်တကယ်လှတယ်ဟောင်းအဘတ်တွေကတော့
Replay here. Okay, 9 class apparently. Okay, there we
No,
go.
this one placing a nice ward to end up catching no one here, and you can see the power of the Orchid. Like if Notice isn't this
when that
close,
comes out.
and they don't get this counterplay with a very good curse that was stolen here, and he barely got that
ကိုလက
solid.
ကိုလကမားတယ်ဟောဒီကေဗီနဲ့ရိုက်နေတဲ့ကောင်ရဘတ်စကမပေါ်ခဲ့တယ်ဟိုနောက်ကဂျပန်ကောင်တွေသွားခေါ်
Look at this crush.
အဲ crush နဲ့လွယ်နော် separate ကောင်းနေတယ် parry နဲ့လွယ်သွားတာလေပါတော့ပါ
Would have had that one.
I'm surprised we're not seeing more casual chasm stones for any hero with AoE.
I mean, it's just sometimes hard.
လူရဲ့ winner ကပေးလိုက်ရတဲ့အချိန်စောင်းတင်သွား
That's one of the problems. There was a while we saw it a lot on like Snapfire early on as a support, which I think is quite good, obviously for the gloves.
ကဲ winner class ကကျန်နေသေးတယ်နော် no mission မှာ
The bigger things later.
အဲ့ဒါပြဿနာကြည့်တယ် cast တို့လာလာလို့ physical damage ကျန်တဲ့ကောင်တွေမီလီတွေတယ်သိလား
Necessity. I think that you get it.
ကြောင်းမတင်နာပဲနဲ့
That's
နော်
the worry I have for Pvision is that they're just very one-dimensional in the damage department.
It is true, but it's also when you're overwhelming in that damage department, you can still like, you can cut through some of the rest, because it is a lot of minus armor. Like, it is Slardar and Pango, and I think also at some point, the collapse looking for a call.
And one of your
the strongest 25 talents. You know, we don't need to talk about, like, it's still quite far away, but undispellable corrosive haze. Generally, anything in Dota without counterplay.
Hey, we're not gonna call it maybe.
Man, that would have been a really good curse. Just didn't have the vision, so they delete it. No longer with that potentially game-changing ultimate steal.
That's a good and quick kill, and they immediately also killed the observer ward that they just placed with this fresh gem that Mr. Notice is currently running around with, which is going to be a secondary gem, a secondary ward. So this is already, basically you got half the gold back from the gem. And if you look at Spirits-Vision on the map now, there isn't a single observer ward. It's all going to be, you need to get the lanes out, you need to have illusions swarming, and hope that you can place wards that aren't easy to find.
And Yatoro getting pretty close to, I assume, wait, what? Did he not finish Heart?
Might be on the career, he might just have too much gold, he just buys 7 items at the same time.
He has Oblivion Staff and Bloodthorn in his backpack, or his stash rather.
Where's
the recipe for the Heart? Okay. Well, either way, this is a shit ton of farm out of nowhere.
He's got it on his courier. I guess he's just waiting for everything to then come out at the same time.
Okay.
So yeah, he's basically getting a double item timing. Of course, the Heart will help him stay alive.
See that? That's the thing.
Like, you can see it sometimes like Alchemist if his courier dies, but not really on like normal heroes.
Is he trying to hide it, and then when the Aegis expires, they smoke and take a fight?
The
You know, this is the thing I text him tomorrow, man. Flying, no
I mean,
big
how often
deal.
are these players like,
Flying or
how fast
gone
are
or
they
gone,
clicking
man.
to see
That's
inventories?
Very, you click all the time. I think especially like any type of
Yeah,
downtime
Aegis
needs to
only
be
don't
used to
like
understand
Pvision,
where
not even
enemy
second
heroes,
don't
what
let
are
it
they
change
building,
out.
what are they buying.
Aegis got.
Now, Satanic only has 30 seconds on the Aegis, so we'll attempt to go for this tier 2 towers. The BKB now online for collapse. So in terms of the buildings, Pvision still leaving a little bit to be desired.
You know,
with this
me,
Aegis.
I'm me.
Do you think they got enough out of it?
I think they're fine that the game is, because they're progressing it in an okay manner. You got bottom tier to tower, and you are taking a lot of the vision away still.
The double item into smoke.
Well, that ward I think did spot the smoke, so
Yeah,
Pvision should know this,
idea.
but
She
this is
didn't
still
know
a very
she
good
was.
move from Spirit, because you push in a lot of the ways, you force in Pvision to retreat to their own side of the map, so they are split at least for the time being. And now even if the smoke doesn't hit, it could give you some space, push in some more lanes, or get out some observer wards for the secondary Roche. As Not Me, of course, will be the one to throw out the observers.
And he's working on a Ghost Scepter as well, so we might be seeing multiples on the Spirit side. Now counter smoke from Pvision. No one leading the charge. Notice
notice.
on the first target. You can see Yatoro and the rest of Spirit kind of dodging this unknowingly. I'm sure they're aware that something is happening. A little bit too quiet on the map right now. Rue, he's gonna pop the smoke.
Rue. Okay, now some that crash basket 2 man, and then now Rue ကလည်းဘာမှမရှိဘူး ကဲ separate ဒါကြီးတော့ကျုံးပြီနော်စိတ်တိုင်းရိုက်တာကြီးနာကြပဲကိုလက်ရှော
He's burning out.
အားမလို့လို့နေ
Eventually to the damage over time from
Damage
Satanic
they
as
have to
Notice
throw
gets
soul
the double kill, and that's 3 dead for Spirit. Pvision, big fight for them. That opens things up a little bit more.
Honestly, this to college win to Wyvern is
ဟို
a
ဒီ
big
ပွဲ
problem.
တော့မထည့်တာဘူးမနေ့က play off ကြမှာစကြုံမှာ
I
ဟို
don't
က
think
တေချာ
to
တုံး
college
မှာ
made that
ဟိုက
big
လေးလာရင်း
difference,
နေဟုတ်လား
but it's just a threat. Like, where is the damage coming out?
ဖြေချာနေရတယ်ဒီကောင်တွေဘာတွေမှားတယ်လဲဘာတွေလုတ်တက်လဲနော်
Collapse nor Yatora
Play off
really
yan.
dishing out any damage unless there's a Bloodthorn.
Quality
And even
lang,
that,
play
you
off
can
yan.
dispel with a Lotus Orb. There's Yule Scepters available. Like, to college just blinks out. It's just immediately find ruin. Like, just look at the call. It's honestly not that much damage. There's too much teamfight coming out from Pvision right now.
Yeah, he wasn't ready for that much damage coming out from the Phoenix. I mean, if he could replay it, I'm sure he would egg right away.
Yeah.
And then the call to follow protects it, and potentially they can turn the fight, but it's just over from the start for Spirit.
Even so, like, you're playing this into a double BKB, at least currently, and on it, like, Kez is not bad at killing the egg at all. He has really high attack speed, especially with the butterfly, the BKB to boot. You have even more attack speed from the Lurgan champion. He's also gonna go for MKB. Like, Satanic is gonna start shredding people.
Oh, he already is.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot worse.
As Nullifier's next on the list for noticed, he's 2k into it, so the Ghost Scepters are gonna be...
စီဘူးတွေနော်မလိုက်ပြန်စီဘူးထောပတ်တွေကျွေးပြီ
And you can see
အော်
another potential
ဥရောင်နေတာ
turn.
မြတ်
He does get the egg off this
ကောင်းသွားပြီ
time.
ကောင်းသွားပြီဒီဘက်မှာဘာစကာလေးနည်းနည်းနောက်ကျတယ်နောက်မှာဘာစကာဒီကနေလေးဝင်လာတဲ့နောက်မှာတော့အိုးရ no one အသေးသေးဒါမရဘူးကောင်းသွားပြီအောင်ရင်ကော်လက်အိုးအပိုင်ခွဲ
For collapse, and somehow they turn this
ပြီး
around.
နေဥတပေါင်းနဲ့အကုန်ရှုပ်ကုန်ပြီဒီဘက်မှာ4 man down နော်ပြီးတော့ညီလေးကလည်းပါတော့မပါဘူးဆိုတော့
Satanic had a
Yeah, but they are so no. Pini uno go myo.
Expecting something to come out there. As yeah, how does
Ano nene so mo do ma dia. Pini ba maya la. Wala tasakan na sakan so ai. Pini ji ba ma ma tei lao. Ei da.
Not the type of fight I'm expecting Pvision to lose there.
Let's look at the replay here. So Egg comes out early this time.
Collapses TP, but I think it's a long TP from him.
Mo tasakan ni so ai. Ma tei lao do.
Doesn't even go down there. Very close.
I mean, Satanic is maybe a little closer. You can absolutely take that fight.
Let's play the pick on.
Really nice telekinesis. That's the shard showing the range, giving him that extra mobility to get that second chop.
When you go on people this close,
Oh, no,
you gotta
be
sure that that is a quick kill or that you can disengage.
Call us in the tree lines, trying to protect Satanic from potential danger.
နိုင်ပြန်စီဘူးထောပတ်အစီအစဉ်လုံးမရမှာလား
The other big part is too that you dropped the gem. Like the reason why you could keep up the map play all this time is that you're pushing in the
ကဲ Russian battery ပါပြန်နှုံးရတော့မယ်ဒီကအားရောက်နာဂါဆိုင်ရနေပါဘောကရ
gem to the Naga Siren team and
Russian နားမှာ
a
အ
few
ညာ
No,
သူတို့ရဲ့ vision တွေမှာ show နေပြီ
the shield crash back down.
အစစ်တန်းကိုလည်းဘယ်သူမှရှင်ရိုက်လို့ရမှာမဟုတ်ဘူးနာဂါဆိုင်ရလည်းမနိုင်တော့ပါ
Of any kind.
He has it soon, like you
Naga
said.
Sirenလည်း MKB မရသေးဘူး
Disperser on the Pango. He's quite close to it.
ပြောကိုပြနေဒီမနေ့စမြလည်းတပ်ပုံအပြန်လည်းပို့လာတာဟာလား
Use it on
ပြ
enemy
ကိုပြ
and still dispels you.
Yeah.
Very nice.
MKB completed for Satanic, which means all the eyes are going to be on the secondary Roche. Which means also buybacks are going to be highly valuable and very much talked about here from both sides.
And Collapse, I think, is ready this time for a Roche defense.
He's got enough items to be a criminal once again.
Roche is now up. Notice it's going to spot it. And Naga can spot it anytime she wants. Notice gets a little bit of vision here onto Collapse. And yeah, this second Roche is going to be pivotal for both sides.
The Spirit are very, very good at this. They understand.
Which team do you think needs it more, if that makes sense?
I believe it's more on Pvision to get it. I think there's a slight pressure building. I don't think they feel bad by any means. They still feel great, but I'll say it's more up to them to make sure that they get the ages
1 way
on
ပို
their
ကြိုက်တယ်လက်ရှိက1 way ကထောင်ထောင်ဖြစ်နေတယ်မလား organization တိတ်အောက်ရောက်သွားပြီဒီကောင်တွေက
The curse is
ကစားတာအရင်လှ
on the other side. You have Song, you have Egg, you have Coil. A lot of A.
ဘရကမရတော့ပါဘူးဆရာကြီးကဒေါက်တာကိုမဆော့တော့တာဒီကောင်
perfectly on the map, kind of
They come on,
understanding the
Masora,
Spirit are in a
I
smoke.
get
There's
the
two
ball
ways that
up.
they can be going.
ဒေါက်တာကိုကလည်းကောင်းလေးပြောပါနေကောင်မ
Yeah, Tauros
ဟိုနေကောင်မအောင်ပြောပါ
as
ဘရ
there's
က
already a completed MKB on Satanic. We'll look to go for the Disperser instead.
Who's the first team to get a pick off, or do they just straight up try to go for Roche?
I wonder if Pvision will just wait for Roche to like move to the bottom side. Then if there's a team fight there, you kind of have some of the buyback advantage and you can set up the area first. Which
They're going to
seems
get on the aggressive with the smoke now.
Yeah, they are doing that, scanning the Roche just to make sure that Spirit aren't sneaking it in the same time.
Spirit now with a counter smoke as they do the old clockwork roundabout.
Look at Laurel.
Yeah, they do spot Laurel. Just getting the smoke off. of a couple of heroes as the crush comes in from
ပြန်ပန်အိုးဆိုင်ရန်ပန်ကိုရိုးလေးကောင်းသွားပြီအော်ကြီးလောင်းတန်းရှောနေတော့ကဲရိုရှင်ပြေးတော့ယူတော့ယူနေသေးတယ်မလွယ်ဘူးရောက်ရေးစပရစ်တော်တော်မားသွားပြီစရက်နောက်မှာတော့နားဆိုင်ရန်ဖန်တော့အိပ်ပြီး BKB ကျမှတောင်းချုံရိုက်ခွဲကန်လိုက်ရောက်ပြီရတူတော့တန်းရှောနေပဲ စပရစ်အမားကြီးတော့လှုပ်လိုက်ပြီရောက်ရေးဒီမှာကောလက် agent တော့ရအောင်ယူထားသေးတယ်စပရစ်နောက်မှာဝင်းတကာ2 place Okay, they are right. They are now. Time to put water. We need how we need it. We go. The baka. Our F kali. Piano. But how they are. Pass car. How they? Sitting. Little pipe. Win the car from no me. Okay. Oh, lali. How they? I'm a shame. Now, what time to wavi? Or GG wavi?
Shot number 1 from Collapse brings
Oh,
Satanic to as no one called up. Notice is still there. Collapse is completely surrounded here. Obviously,
Spirits the decision in Mawara. No, Russian Pilo. There's my paka away.
Who actually just dies on the sidelines to a random shield.
Shall me up a lecho on a
Spirit. So they lost the Aegis in the end. The buyback comes out from Laurel. It looked really good at first for Spirit. What happened?
They paid.
I
think the fact that Yotoro just died so early on in this fight, they're just running out of juice eventually.
I don't know. Damn it, laser shit. But they have
who's actually like just leading the charge there.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, but Pvision just like
wow.
They just got a very nice, good initial go. Even with Collapse getting the Aegis again, like, they just keep the fight going like way too nicely. And I think this initial go on Laurel is very good. Like when you have this Roche standoff, it's a lot about this like mid-wave. How can you control it? And even with the song and like the sun rays.
Yeah. How does Collapse do this? I mean, it wasn't a snatch, so it's not going to add to his stats, but this was effectively one.
Could have been maybe slightly faster on the curse there by Tukalis. But even so, it was a great fight for them with Not Me. Sealing the curse, pushes himself out, very good telekinesis, and also sealing the rapid dance. But still didn't really change the outcome all that much. And it was a very costly fight for Spirit. Sure, you got the Aegis, but you paid with 6 lives for this one and a buyback?
Yeah. And the Aegis, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens, I suppose, when your position 1 is not able to get anything off, really. I mean, he pops the song, but the BKBs were still up and running, not having any effect. A little bit unlucky. I thought he was going to get pushed outside the pit as Collapse. It's Not Me trying to steal something, but it gets nullified.
No, they only notice Lara. No, the guy, she malaka, sit down there. Her colleague of Piro Pine, if you share it, don't show Manale, just go away now. Okay, separate. Her Bama Lolo me out in our area. Do the little one away, you know, but they wanted to charge me out. Oh, no, just show me. But that's I know me out. Now I'm damn it, but
Pvision,
they don't know. Look at it. They're too hard. No, because they're sitting in chair. Now I'm yeah, piano basically.
Supports, but this is Laurel out again, and it's not just a normal death. It's a death where you know he doesn't have any buyback available. This is an 11k lead, and I mean from the earlier play, you know, this is what Spirit does. They take risky plays. This time it did absolutely not pay off on the Roche. Yotoro trying to cut some waves, but honestly, not really gonna do all that much. Top lane is pushing in. Satanic has a Satanic to his name as well. This Kez is a major problem.
Yes, indeed. And that's the hero I fear more than anything. Naga is just, I find to be very annoying in these games and can kind of pressure quite a bit as Yotoro.
And very soon
face the wrath of the Chicken Man. Rolling Thunder coming in from no one as well. Not able to find a connection.
What?
Satanic gets the tower, will exit for the time being, of course. Remember, they don't have the Aegis. As Song.
Don't look for an egg to call.
Egg as well.
Yes.
Time this correctly with the sun ray to fall.
Get a car, Bascari. May I only Bascar and nearly now charge.
Where is the call?
Oh my god, I'm saying do it. Man. No, they're sitting escape your one.
Exit. If that's it, then Spirit not going to be too happy.
Okay, decent execution. Wasn't
that really look up
but of course, you're kind of like forcing some of the backlines to come a bit closer. Maybe Ducal is finding himself slightly out of position. But Pvision just unlocked one of the most OP Exodia talents on Slardar here. Undispellable now against this Radiant Draft. Sure, you've got decent armor coming your way, but if you have Haze on you, Naga only has 10 armor. If you get lucky shotted, you're gonna start being literally around neutral.
Yeah, I was wondering why Collapse wasn't opting for a Shiva's.
I want to
double up on that. So Goes for the Krella again as noticed. He's going to
Oh,
notice
yeah, now
collapse in
what?
the
Now Japan
area.
go
You can
rolling.
see Ru
Oh, they
easily
there,
rolled on
pin
by
it.
no one.
Sure.
They're going to go for the support, so the Rubik will bite the dust
Oh,
next.
hello, damn it, off what? Di ba ka no? So damn it, it's not a cast.
No one's also doing a really good job at covering the cold.
Hey, I got ya. Choro ba ma law lo mya bu. No tek ka ba light main ne bi.
For 25 seconds anyway, just needs a bash.
Jee da sia eh, me ya do.
Another death for Yatoro. Has buyback.
Ke so ra kwa. Di ba na ka sai lo lo mya.
It's going to be a rough road.
These are all just big moves, and you can definitely tell the strength coming out from the Pvision's heroes here. It's very hard to deal with them. There's just a lack of damage overall from Spirit. Also want to commend no one. He's covering his ult very well against Not Me. Keeps trying to steal his ult, but he's always just roll upping for like 0.1 seconds, so you can never get the Rolling Thunder.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's courier has been killed.
At the very least, that means he can't use the roll up in more meaningful situations.
Well, it's not really needed to do so.
Yeah, I guess so.
အဲ့တော့နော်ပွဲကတော့ပြီးလောက်တော့ဖြစ်နေပြီငါကဆိုင်ရန်ကဒီပွဲဘာမှလုပ်လို့မရဘူးဟိုကဆလာတော့မနိုင်လောက်ဘယ်နဲ့မချဘူး
Gets called up with Laura.
ကဲနောက်မှာတော့ဂျပန်ကိုအိုးရပြက်ခဲ့နေလေဟောဘတ်ကနေစစ်တန်းနေမပြောင်းအောင်အဲ့တော့မစစ်တန်းနေမပြန်ဖွင့်သွားပြီပဲပတ်ရပြီဟောလဲလဲရှော Oh, nice run ပါဟောလဲလောက်တော့လောက်သေးတာ
Just too much to handle from Pvision.
ဟို idea အသစ်ကဒီမှာ hair injection ရှော့တာလေဒီလိုကောင်း
But now he's gonna respawn naturally without 2 cores. So you're just getting mega now.
I don't know how you can hold, and I also don't know how Satanic was able to live through it. He has like 1 HP, gets off the Satanic, and just heals nearly to
ဆော
full.
င်းနာတယ်ရောငါဆိုင်ရန်ဘာမှမ
I
လုပ်
don't
တာ
care that this is Yatoro. I don't know how he holds this 3v5.
play off ရောက်မတွေ့မင်းအားလုံးနော်မာလေးလာတင်ယူလို့မကုန်သေးဘူးခဏလေး
We'll get mega, but again, we've seen Spirit level up against mega creatures before.
They've
Hey, la,
done
thing like,
worse situations. It's definitely a tough one, and remember, this is a very important game.
Yeah, with this victory, Pvision, if they're able to hold on, will secure first place in the groups. And Satanic working on the tier 4s now. 40 seconds for Laurel, 30 for Collapse. And the rest of Spirit just waiting it out in the fountain. If they start to bleed, they're able to get some pickoffs with Notice just blowing somebody up. Then
စပရစ်ကတော့တော့ဒါစစ်တန်းက gas ကို respect တော့မပေးဘူး
at any point.
နပွဲလုံးလုပ်ပေးတယ်ပွဲစင်လေးဒီပွဲကျတော့လေအိမ်ထဲမှာအဆင်ပြေသွား gas ကို
Lotus Orb, you have
Oh,
been
SD
able to
virus
Winter
in
Wyvern, Cold Embrace. Use the roll.
Rolling Thunder again just to buy
ကဲ
some
တော့
time.
ပြန်ဘတ်လိုက်ရင်တော့ဘတ်လို့ရရ
Let's get off the
easy
song.
ဒီဘက်မှာရတူရိုပေးမပြန်ဘူးနည်းနည်းတော့ sign ကြည့်မဲ့သဘောပဲ
Rolling Thunder again, no
မဲ
more.
ဆိုင်လုံးကလည်းမရပါဘူးရတူရိုဒီဘက်မှာ
Finally,
နော်
Yule's onto Collapse.
ကဲစပူရာလောက်တော့ပြေးတော့လုံးတော့လုံးနေလေရပြီကျွန်တော်9 plus တော့ရအမေ3လက်မှတ်ကပြောသွားပြီ
Not
ပွဲ
nearly enough.
Yeah, Ninka's kind of just giving his life to make sure that
Di
Collapse
puede
doesn't have
ocupar
fall
un
there
tera.
by canceling his blink. Should give them an
လီယို
absolute
နက်ပြန်ကြမှာတ
disengage.
ခြားလေးစာကြုံမှာ
And Raven
အော်ရ
Village
ဘာစကလာတယ်ရောင်းဒီဘက်မှာတောက်လျှောက်ပဲဒါမှမဟုတ် notice damage ရစိုးချက်ပဲရောက်ရေး win the cast နဲ့မထိန်းသွားပြီစစ်တန်းနဲ့ BKB နောက်တစ်ခုပြီးတော့ရိုက်တဲ့နောက်မှာ finish 7nova တော့ထားမမြောက်သွားပဲနဲ့ဒီဘက်မှာလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့ win the cast တွေကြားမှာ
အလုံးကတော့ပေါက်ပြီအော်
rolling လာကြတယ်
And Yatoro
ကဲရပါပြီ
issue is
နော်
he just cannot
ဒီ
stay
ချီ
alive.
ဒီပွဲလေးတော့ကြီးတော့ကောင်းတယ်ဆိုပေမဲ့အဲ့ကျွန်တော်နာကဆိုင်ရင်ကြီးကတော့ကျွန်တော်အရင်အလုပ်တော့မဖြစ်ပါဘူး let's
These
bit
guys, they definitely leveled up in the second
ဟင်း
game.
ကတော့ကောင်းတယ်နော် cast နဲ့ slide တယ်ဒါပေမဲ့နော်တကယ်မှာရိုက်လို့မရအောင်ကဲနောက်ဆုံးတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ Pvision ရပဲဒါ play off တော့ရောက်သွားခဲ့ပါပြီနော် split ကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ2-3ကနိုင်တဲ့ကောင်နဲ့အဲ့လိုတပွဲလောက်တော့ထပ်ဆော့အောင်မယ် play off ရဖို့အတွက်နော် Pvision ကဒီမှာဒါတော့ update မဖြစ်သေးဘူးအဲ့တဲ့ကနေကောင်မရဲ့ level နဲ့နေရာ Falcon တို့ပါရီတို့ဒီဘက်မှာလည်း1 win ဖြစ်ရန်တက်ဖြစ်နော်နေကောင်မနဲ့ပခုံးဖတ်ပြီးပေါင်းနေတဲ့ကောင်တွေကရှုပ်လို့တော့မရဘူးကဲအဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီနေ့ညရဲ့နောက်ထပ်မိုင်းနဲ့ပွဲတော့1 win ရန်တက်ရှိအောင်မယ်အဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်တို့မကြခင်6နာရီလောက်ပြန်စမလားမသိဘူးအဲ့တော့ဘော်ရအားလုံးကျွန်တော်6နာရီလောက်ကြာရင်ပြန်တွေ့ပါမယ်နော်ရန်တက်1 win နဲ့တူBye bye guys ကျွန်တော်နောက် live stream တွေမှာပြန်ဆုံမယ်အားလုံးပဲခုလို